Activate! So we are fighting, and oh dear, right into the corner we go. That is not in control. Can they find out where they're going?
Yeah, this is not my beautiful wife there. Now on their back, AOB, the flipper, has done its namesake, I think.
And that bottle, I can see what you mean. That bottle is well exposed. But
oh, it is.
What is going on? They're all over the shop.
They are. I think AOB got a bit stuck on the pit there. They're now away again. Those new forks on it. Every time AOB comes to an event, it seems to look slightly different to last time.
And are we already seeing our first immobilization? Are they out?
Not quite. You see, This Is Not My Beautiful Wife has a servo-powered waggle stick, the most powerful of weapons. And so it can still move upside down, although I say that as it dies in the corner.
Activate! There we go.
Here we go then. Bby Shrekt has an unfortunate habit of
up into the wall it goes! Bby Shrekt coming out aggressive.
Big hits, you see there, Bby Shrekt bouncing off the floor. That is their enemy. CSB Echo will be looking to capitalise on the fact that Bby Shrekt bounces around. However, he's looking a bit still.
And will Bby Shrekt going for another kill just to tease him, or are they going to leave him be?
I don't think so. There's a lot of fights to get through for all of the competitors today. We might see some...
Activate!
Here we go then.
Oh, and a quick dive, but they dodged each other, both turning right, so they brilliant manoeuvre there. And already behind, put him into the corner. That's going to render the saw completely useless.
Oh yeah, the moment Boom Zoom ends up underneath or behind Brug, that is going to be it for them. They're just going to have to be along for the ride.
And was that a bit of a pin we saw there, locking them up against the pit button?
Definitely. Pins, they can last for 10 seconds, and it shows excellent control from the aggressor.
And I don't even know I don't think that saw is spinning up. It does not seem to be going.
I'm not too sure myself either. It may well just be a glorified control bot at this point.
So really just intimidation factor if that was a thing.
Oh yeah, definitely. Although a bit of weight balance as well.
Absolutely,
as it falls over.
And now trying to self-ride, and they just managed to do so.
Yeah, there we go. The pit is going down, I believe. Oh, bad place to be. Very bad place to be.
And in it goes, is it on the edge? And there we go.
That's a win for Boom Zoom.
Activate, and the cluster bot splitting, dividing, conquering, and already pinning up against, throwing them into the pit button.
Yep. This is a party. No, not this is a party. That's a wrong robot. This is not a drill. I'm thinking of Ben from Team Panic still. This is not a drill. Just sort of wheeling up. That wedge is coming off the ground, struggling a little bit.
And not a drill, yeah, really struggling because it's 2 against 1. It's really unfair. Both of the cluster bots have a flipper as well.
They do, yeah.
So they're not completely motionless. So there is a penalty.
Yes.
But that being said, you wouldn't see it. Look at the control of both of them, pinning not a drill up against the side, and the pit is now lowering as we speak.
These two work very well together. They are an excellent control pairing, and they could very easily get This Is Not a Drill over towards the pit.
And Not a Drill is getting ever closer to the pit, but darting well away. The cluster bots looking a little stuck on the arena floor, almost bashing into each other.
Not quite sure what's going on, and they're having a bit of friendly fire, I think.
So what weaponry do we have in the arena right now? Is it both flippers?
It's all flippers, yeah. We've got the front hinge flipper of This Is Not a Drill, and the normal rear hinge lifters of the cluster bots Rust in Pieces.
So really this is a battle of who can get the lowest to the floor without getting stuck, because you need that scoop to get under your competitor, otherwise you're not really doing much. But now they're grabbing them almost with the flipper stuck on top.
They have a very clever little stick on the side of the robot that just does an excellent job of controlling This Is Not a Drill.
And how much have we got left on the clock? I cannot see a clock on our screen, so it's going to be difficult for us to judge.
Yeah.
But pinning them up against the side there, and, well, Not a Drill, trying to do anything, but the control factor is too strong. The cluster bots, they really are a brilliant controlling pair.
This fight is going down to the judges by the sounds of things as we are counting down the last 5,
4, 3, 2, 1.
And that is the match.
Activate.
I'm excited to see Stratus.
And they're winding up, and the control factor is actually looking really difficult, but up against the wall on their side, and bits are flying all over the place. This is aggressive, this is brutal,
and
they are out!
An absolute clinic there from Stratus.
Activate, and Grab Crab moving straight in over to Dustwind, and now they're lifting them, grabbing them, putting them on their side, heading towards the out zone. Are we getting close to seeing an out?
I think we might be, although He has been lifted all over the place. That was a little suplex.
That was
there.
up and over, and Crab turned his back towards the out zone. I thought he was going to suplex him out. This
that
isn't
would be an
wrestling.
amazing one.
This is robots, not wrestling. But up into the air, Dustwind once again. Crab so far taking control.
Yes, Crab is just managing to get in between those forks. And
Oh, we're
bring
up
him on
vertically.
end. It's a very good grab, and it's a very good crab, I must say.
It's a brilliant.
Dustwind really struggling at the moment. Turned over once again.
So Dustwind, you're saying their strategy is to be a pusher. They're meant to be the more aggressive in terms of the pushing and shunting battle, but Crab, they have this one.
Yeah, certainly the more controlled of the two at the minute.
And I have to say, Dustwind, unfortunately for them, their shape is allowing Crab to really get under, get around and hold and control them.
And unfortunately, I think the out sections of plastic have hindered them here. The wheels are off the ground and they can't go anywhere.
So Crab doing a victory pose, and we activate.
Here we go.
And
A
straight
different
away.
setup for the 7th Circle, who's using a few more forks than they used to. Step Up is managing to do a good job of controlling the start of this fight.
And 7th being pinned up against the arena wall, but that saw is now up and spinning. You got to be wary if you Step Up.
Now you can see there he's being hit.
Oh, big explosion of plastic there,
That
all are
was the front
shattered.
wedge. A
Shattering.
lot of the front wedge has gone. And so
now
has the forky lifter. He's upside down on his paper armor. That might actually work better for him, honestly.
I don't think it will, because now when 7th goes underneath, they are going to be digging into the electronics.
Oh,
This
you
is
might have
very
a good
bad.
point there.
And Step Up desperately hitting the pit zone. They want the pit to fall. 7th getting closer on the right side, but they can't get in there to push them because of that wedge that 7th has.
You see, Step Up is doing a good job of managing to avoid the pit for now, although, as I say that, driving a bit closer, struggling to drive upside down. I think there must be some sort of debris stuck underneath. It may well be the paper.
Well, you say the debris. Look at the arena floor is absolutely covered in shrapnel. 7th must be really proud of themselves at this stage. Probably winning the damage battery. And as I say that, one wheel's off the wagon.
Yeah, that's
Step
a
Up
lot of
struggling now.
That has been gutted out of there, by the looks of things.
And this is what the crowd came to see. We're getting the oohs, we're getting the ahs. Another
There's
wheel is
another
gone. A bit of paper. Get the confetti going.
Count them with me. That's 2 wheels.
Only
Will
2
we see
left.
more?
And Step Up getting ever closer to the pit.
Will we see any more?
Oh my days, that is, you're tiring. Hey,
Oh,
we're.
nice, yeah.
All right, someone
Oh,
take the
it's gonna be
microphones
a
off of us. We
long
don't
day.
deserve to
Long
be
day.
here. So we've seen
There's a
some
motor come
quiets
out
now.
there.
Some quiet in the storm. And you said you've seen a motor
Yeah,
up
that's
in
laying
the
on
air,
floor.
self-righted. But is there anything left of Step Up? Can you even recognise it?
I think it is a face only a mother could love at this point, but he is going to get to a judge's decision.
Believe it or not. Activate! And immediately the spinner gets going for Zephyrus. And, well, it's a bit tentative. And in the air! Are they out? They are not out.
No,
They're stuck
not
up
quite.
against the
He
pit
is
wall.
still in. Zephyrus, a big hit there, but goes flying itself. They need to watch that.
And running right into Aggro there, but they came off worse. Zephyrus was the one that ended up bouncing all over the place. Aggro nice and low to the arena.
Yeah,
Zephyrus
definitely.
bouncing everywhere.
That plastic is just absorbing all of the hits from the face. He wants to keep face onto that spinner, and he's now upside down, which could be tricky for him.
But he's actually, no, they're fine. They're the right way up. They're good enough. Because of how high Zephyrus is, Aggro actually can get underneath quite nicely. And look at the sparks on the arena wall. Don't worry, audience, you are safe. This is double layered perspex, so there is protection there.
The pit button is being gone for.
And it's not going down to having some technical difficulties with the arena. It's going to continue into a fight. Zephyrus has not got the spinner going. They look to be stopped. And there we go. The pit has been activated.
It is now going down, and I see smoke coming out of somebody. Is it Zephyrus?
Or is there a fire? I can't quite tell.
A good push there from Aggro, Wobba.
So nothing that will stop the fight. We're going to keep going, and Zephyrus is on the edge. Can Aggro position themselves to push them in?
Zephyrus doing very well to not fall in the pit.
You
just
say
yet,
that,
but
but
there
in they
he
go!
goes.
Activate! And EMP moving into the middle, already pinning Schnake up against the side, putting
Nice
them
little
up
flip.
against the outer zone.
And is
Can they
Schnake
position
done?
themselves?
There might be a bit of sportsmanship here, trying to free Schnake or trying to get them out of the arena. Haven't
we
quite
haven't.
told what.
I don't feel like we've seen much, if any, movement from Schnake, so I'm not sure if what's going on there. But already stuck up against the side, and is that sportsmanship, or are they stuck? Are they immobile?
Well, they are back down now, but I don't know if they can drive upside down. Now inverted.
Well, EMP getting some practice in with the flipper, and now we're seeing some life. Now we're starting to see some movement. We're going to get a bit of a fight.
Is very low to the ground, even lower than the forks on the front of Schnake.
Which is incredible given there are some uneven sections to this arena floor, so that low edge can catch the arena floor and really stick you into position. But now we're getting some battling, so this is a fight for position. This is a drivers roboteers battle, and really it's going to come down to when that pit button is activated, who goes into the pits.
EMP struggling to move for a second there, but does get away and gets position on Schnake.
And I think they're positioned well to go for a bit of a flip. Can they go for one? Schnake doing a brilliant job running away. But are they stuck on the arena floor? No, they're bashing back in. EMP into the red zone.
There was a good little push from Schnake. EMP has to make sure that that robot gets all the way up on their flipper before they can flip them. Otherwise, they just miss the flip.
And EMP's actually really struggling to get underneath Schnake there. So what is going on? We're now getting the flip, and they're up against the pit button. Is the pit button being activated? I don't know if the timer is allocated yet. Once the fight has started, it is a 30-second countdown before the pit button is enabled.
Oh, we're far beyond that. I think it might just be some arena malfunctions.
And there are coming down to the timer. So we're going to go to a judges in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Judges' decision.
That's going to be an interesting one.
Begin.
Ultraviolence bouncing off of the floor.
And that is major damage. Major
Sproing
damage.
has exploded.
Tapped out immediately.
Begin.
And in we go. So Frog immediately all over Voltageist. Voltageist kind of being very static there, and up into the air is Voltageist. Frog taking control of this fight in the early stages.
Voltageist seems to be struggling with their lifters. They are up in the air.
And then one of their forks is stuck underneath their robot, so that's massively inhabilitating them. They cannot get around the arena because one of those forks is somehow trapped itself underneath.
Yeah,
and Frog is taking full advantage.
Definitely pivoted too far, that fork, and now is back down.
And now they're going to get some aggression. So
Enabled.
It's straight up that wedge. Voltageist, when face on, it is actually lower than Sir Lancerfrog. But Lancerfrog at the minute is doing a very good job of pushing Voltageist all around the arena and lifting them up.
I was saying that they're attacking from the side, but just then they went straight underneath, and now Frog
going down.
hitting the pit button.
Pit going down.
And Voltageist staying well away, and
But
let's
a
see,
good
it is now a
position
pushing battle,
and a clap.
and it's very
Voltageist
close.
has a
One wheel is
wheel.
on the edge.
This could be curtains for the Frog.
The Frog is going in.
He's gone. There's a win for Voltageist.
You can't activate, and we're off, and
Grapple
immediately.
turnover, very quick across the arena. It's now upside down, but as is BadFutherMucker
And he
driving
is
around, trying to
diving
get that
around the
right.
arena. So this is the issue when you have such a powerful spinner. The gyro effect carries you around the arena, and now Grapple trying to get control, but Bad is chucking them into the air,
That
and
was
they
a
are
big
grinding
hit.
along the floor themselves.
I don't think there's going to be any more grappling.
And we've just seen an arm fly off a Grapple, so losing pieces of plastic.
They've lost their weapon in violence. I think
Pit
that is their
enabled.
grapple gone.
And you know that it's loud when even David starts covering his ears, the arena controller.
However, BadFutherMucker is very upside down and very not moving.
And the spinner is powering down. I think they are disabled. 3, 2, 1.
That is a knockout.
They are disabled. And
And
it's activated, and the spinner getting up and going, but look at that attitude, already getting underneath, and now the hammer.
Oh,
They're
what a shame.
They are out.
What a move there. The fight.
So the Contradiction staying stable, getting their spinner up and running, and that knocks Beetle Tendency up into the air.
Metis getting underneath, trying to get a flip in, but not quite managing it. Metis now back underneath Contradiction and doing a good job of getting them up on the flipper, but that was a big hit. The bait, or the back plate even, that's meant to absorb the hits is now a bit, I want to say cattywampus. It's a bit all over the place.
It's perpendicular to where it's meant to be, and it's
Yeah.
going to immobilize them a little bit, so Metis now a little bit stuck, and that is exactly what Contradiction wanted. almost like a tombstone on the back of them. Running towards the pit is Metis. Can they
Metis
get the button hit?
Trying to get that button, not quite managing it. Now
There
does.
we go. So now it is a game of cat and mouse. Who can avoid the pit?
Contradiction riding over the top of Metis there.
And now a little bit
Both
stuck.
seem stuck, not moving. Don't know what's happened there.
So the wheels of Metis are definitely going.
We have paused the fight. Metis there when it used it like a stump ramp. The removal link was clipped, taking it out and leaving it immobile.
Activate. And
Here we go again. The Barber Surgeon circling. Deja Two circling.
And those Omni wheels making it maybe a bit more challenging to maneuver.
Yeah,
they should
3
give you more
wheels.
maneuverability, but actually it's quite difficult to, as a roboteer, control your robot when it's that way. But Deja Two doing a great job getting to the side and grabbing, trying to get hold.
Tried to get a good grab there, but didn't quite manage it. The Barber Surgeon just escaping, but there's
And
a
up in
good
the
grab.
air.
Up, but down again, not quite all the way over. And Deja Two seems to have stopped. What's happened to them?
And I can hear a countdown being done by the judge. So they're slightly moving, still moving. We haven't seen much engagement from the saw yet from the Barber Surgeon. Are they being kind? They're not going to engage, but the count keeps being paused. So I think the Barber Surgeon, they just need to go for it, don't they?
Well, I think they might just count their lucky stars that they've made it this far. They're going to go back to the pits. They're going to move those forks back into position. Activate.
Here we
Spinning
go.
up to speed. Big first hit, and he goes up into the air, comes back down, and again, and loses a wheel.
And that is a lot of damage done by themselves, you have to say. Annie in trouble. Are
Gaelic
you okay?
Gladiator trying to get back in.
And Gaelic Gladiator putting them up against the wall because that is the strategy, and they are out.
Oh, what a shame. Big in. Here we go then.
And Igor so quick out of the blocks, but right into the pit wall. Really not what they were aiming for. I think they were expecting Ares to be a bit quicker than they were.
Yeah, Ares is struggling, being too low to the ground. Those wheels are spinning, but it's not going anywhere.
And Igor doesn't quite seem to have the aggression to be able to lift them up. They tried it, but they couldn't quite get the maneuverability.
Yeah, they need to get round, try and lift them up, try and get that right position to be able to get underneath Ares. It's going to be difficult because Ares has a lovely fork profile that means that other robots just can't get underneath
And
it.
here we go. This is what we're talking about. Controlling the fight. Igor lifting Ares up into the air. They could not escape.
That arena pit button has been pressed, and you can hear the pit button is going down. Ares is still, it can't move. I think it's caught on an arena seam. Those wheels are spinning, but it ain't going nowhere.
And the countdown has ended.
That is
Ares is out. Begin.
Here we go then. Needs to get up to speed, and then it can start walking around, or just fall on its head.
Well, and that's kind of it. That's the end of the battle because once it's immobilized, they cannot get their gyro up to speed, and
It
that
has
is
now
them
turned
done.
into a glorified windmill.
So are we really going to see it over? And that is it. Just
Here we go then. Whoa! Straight
gear down.
across the arena is gear down for what? Upside down. Trying to get that axe into play, but can't do anything.
well, I've never seen such acceleration like
He's
that.
up.
And gear down now, self-righting. They are very much in this fight. And is
And
that
turning end boss upside down.
up against the wall? So they are now in the corner.
And a weapon belt has come off from somewhere, a drive belt from gear down for what? Lots of shrapnel thrown around the arena. That is a drive belt come off of one side of gear down for what? It's not moving.
And end boss is showboating, so you have to say, as far as the Roboteers are concerned, that is the end. Gear down, still
He's
trying to
moving
get
again.
some movement.
He's
They're
back
not
in the
over.
game. And
that's-
now he stopped again.
And that is Emboss. They ripped apart one drive wheel. They've now ripped apart the other drive wheel. End boss showboating. 2-1.
And that is a knockout.
It's over.
Begin. Here
And
we
Meow
go.
Meow lifting up the ball because they want to put that ball over the top of Enigma and
Although-
start to grind away because inside you can't quite see it, but there is a little secret weapon in Enigma pinning Meow Meow up against the side or pushing them quite forcefully. Meow Meow now pushing back.
Mr. Cat's Mouse House is getting that bowl engaged with Enigma's lifter. I don't think I can say anything more than that. There is a little bite, a little nip to the kitty. As you might have just heard, there's something hitting that metal face, And that face may not come out looking like it did before.
No, so now we're going to get to see it potentially on the cameras as they almost got flipped there. You can just see it. There is a bit of a drum. And there it is upside down, so now everyone can see the secret weapon.
But a good lift there from Enigma.
So
who
brilliant
lifts up
control.
Mr. Cat's mouse house.
Brilliant control there by the Roboteer, and the pit has now been activated.
Enigma trying to get a lift in. Was in the right position to try and get an out of the arena flip.
And there is 1 minute left of this battle, so both robots staying well away from the pit area. But Mr. Cat's Meow's house,
Meow's house, I love
Meow's
it.
house is very difficult to say, but they are struggling, pushing them inside. But Enigma doing brilliant jobs to control them.
Inside that bowl, who knows what's happening? All we know is Enigma is in there and having a time of it.
Well, you can see on the face, now that it's re-emerged from underneath the bowl, there are some scratches. And Mr. Cat's mouse house is just trying to get around, very close to pushing them into the pits as they edge ever closer. Enigma is fully wedged within
Back
Mr.
and
Cat.
forth.
And now look at this, Mr. Cat arranging themselves, they are better aligned. Can they get a good drive? And that'll put Enigma into the pit. Enigma fighting back. This is now a tug of war between the two robots.
Enigma get a good lift, taking those wheels just up and out of the way. We only have 8 seconds left in the fight.
Count
this
it
is going to
down.
go to the
5,
judges.
4,
3, 2, 1, and that is the match.
cease.
It goes to a judge's decision. Big in.
Activate.
Here we go then. Both quick across the arena. Luchador managed to head for the exit up on top of them.
And head for the exit. That saw blade is way too high at the moment. They're not going to be able to engage with where it is at the moment. Luchador really grappling there with head for the exit.
I think the idea is that they're going to get hold of them, bring that sword down on top of them, really cut up the insides of the robot. But
We're slowly starting to see it. The saw blade started to move but didn't go all the way down, and Luchador is really getting underneath head for the exit. They are grappling. They are doing a brilliant job to control this fight.
Luchador is another one of our invitees. They did very well at an event in Liverpool very recently.
And we're now seeing the pit being lowered, so now an extra dangerous zone for them to enter into the pits. So very close, and it's interesting. Head for the exit is jumping up and down around the arena. Is that because of the saw blade?
Possibly the saw blade, possibly the drive wheels, because they're bouncing around. They're lifting very slightly at the front, which means that they're not quite touching the ground with that front fork, which is why Luchador is able to get underneath.
And now we're seeing a bit of a grapple. That is a good hold. They are up in the air. That is very impressive there by Luchador, heading towards the pits.
A suplex backwards? No, just a simple grab.
Oh!
And drive away. Very good driving control from Greg Catalina, driver of head for the exit there.
So skipping over the pits, the jumping drivetrain actually helped him there, getting over the pit. And they are still in this battle to live another day. Head for the exit is now stuck on top of Luchador, and this is a very precarious position for Luchador. The tables are turned, the saw blade is now coming into effect.
There it goes, you see it coming down. You might see some sparks in a moment. We'll have to wait and see.
And there's
you
the
certainly
noise.
Hear it. Luchador in a bad place at the moment.
And the countdown has begun, so will they be able to get some more damage in there? You have to say a close battle. It's going to go to the judges.
Luchador seemed to be stuck at the end there. Here we go then, the drum spinner.
And neither
is not getting up to speed yet. There it is. The horizontal spinner on the other side. Chunks being taken out already.
And now we're seeing some real aggression. Now we're seeing some real combat damage. Or is that already over? Is Dr. Zaius out?
I believe a weapon tooth has come off of Corrosive there. It's laying in the arena. I think that's what it is anyway. I can't quite tell from this angle.
But the countdown has begun for Dr. Zaius. It is almost over. That's the end of the fight.
He didn't even get...
Begin.
Here we go then. That steering is going very nicely for This Is Not My Beautiful Wife. Bby Shrekt though, getting some big hits. Oh, that is everywhere.
And it doesn't matter.
There is an exposed battery, and that is going to be the fight. Here we go then, the John Deere look for Boom Zoom. Oh, very nearly out of the arena there for This Is Not a Drill.
And Boom Zoom immediately using that flipper, taking great control of this fight, putting Not a Drill into the corner, once again lifting them into the air. Great control so far, but Not a Drill not out yet. They will be getting into this fight. They just need to renegotiate themselves and find an angle with which they can attack Boom Zoom, because Boom Zoom is really great at maneuvering that front pit flipper up against him, and now it's
The flag
turn.
is on the floor! No! The flag is down! Boom Zoom pushing This Is Not a Drill into the red square corner.
And now Boom Zoom looking a little bit less aggressive, so that is giving Not a Drill a chance to fight back, pushing Boom Zoom into the corner. They're going tit for tat in this battle. Not a Drill is not allowing Boom Zoom out.
They're trying to get underneath, trying to get that flipper in action to see if Boom Zoom can indeed self-right.
And did you see that there? They were very close. Not a Drill very close to the pit, as is Boom Zoom, but they both narrowly escape it.
It's a very good driving match from both of these two robots. Boom Zoom underneath the front of This Is Not a Drill. Once again, now coming back around and trying to get that front wedge underneath. Tries to do so, just pushing up against the front of Boom Zoom. Can't quite get underneath to get that flipper into play.
So Boom Zoom being really low to the ground, and they're getting close to the pit. But both robots able to escape. 30 seconds left of this fight. We are getting close to the end. And again, Not a Drill pushing Boom Zoom up against the side. So good control on both sides of the Roboteer's control. I'm really
definitely
struggling to determine who has got this one.
It's going to be a really tight one for the judges as we enter the final 10 seconds of the fight.
7, 6,
6,
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Aggressive tapping at the end there from Boom Zoom, and that is the match. Begin.
So
Off
Brug
he shuffles.
is moving around, and they are seesawing their way towards
Let the good times is
Stroll.
indeed strolling across. This is going to be an absolute clatter. He's up to speed.
Get ready for the hit. Get ready for the impact, because once that hits, they are going to be flying across the arena. Can they get close?
Brug has not got its saw on anymore. It is just a grabber now.
And there was just a little nip there by Let the Good Time
Oh,
Stroll. And
there
here
goes some
comes the
forks.
damage.
Forks everywhere. If anyone needed cutlery, it's time. Brug is upside down. Can it get back up from there? Needs to self-right.
And Let the Good Time Stroll. They're reorganizing themselves. Are they going to re-engage?
And I think the loss of that saw has actually hindered their self-righting.
But they're still trying. The countdown has begun. One.
And that is it.
Ah.
It's a win for Let the Good Time Stroll. Activate. Here we go then. Crossblow and AOB meeting in the middle. AOB turning Crossblow over, but Crossblow can drive inverted and should be able to self-right from there.
And it
Just
was
need
a
to get the
brilliant-
right angle.
brilliant
AOB
ballet.
trying to flip Crossblow out of the arena, but doesn't quite manage it. Now hooked onto AOB as Crossblow.
And it was a brilliant ballet as they both started, both pirouetting around each other. And as we're seeing now, AOB getting some brilliant flips in, but they only have a limited number of flips. They have to be careful not
Absolutely.
to drain their bottle.
Yes. The flips are a bit thirsty and they do need a drink from that bottle.
And the pit has been lowered, so now I actually feel that this battle might be leaning towards Crossbow, because AOB might have used up a lot of their pressure, and AOB is now up against the wall as Crossbow starts to get some aggression in.
However, don't count AOB out. It does have some very low forks, which makes it a very good push bot as well. At the moment, though, they're circling each other and locking together.
And it is just that little, very close there by Crossbow. I thought they were going to back themselves into the pit area, and now once again Crossbow being inverted, but that doesn't bother them much. AOB is watching to decide what to do next, and now they are engaged with each other, up against the pit button, but there's not much over there. Can AOB flip them into the Uta zone?
Well, I'm not sure if they can do that or push them into the pit. Crossblow desperately trying to self-right, get back onto all four wheels. At the minute, it only has the power of the back two, and that's not very good for pushing.
And this is where AOB needs to be taking advantage. They need to be on Crossbow 24/7, pushing them towards the pit area, but they're just not managing it. Brilliant control, brilliant escaping by Crossbow, but they are escaping. They're not being aggressive.
Yeah, no, this isn't very good aggression from Crossblow at all.
And they're getting close.
And AOB has just made a driving error, falls into the pit.
Let's begin, and Stratus getting that weapon up and running, and look at Dustwind getting to the side, but now you can hear it starting to wind up, and it's going to make it harder for Stratus to control. And look at the damage on top of Dustwind.
There is a big crater there that wasn't there before, and that crater is just getting bigger every second. You can see the insides of the robot now from Stratus.
And you were saying Dustwind, they are wider than Stratus, so if they go straight on, there's a chance that they can stop the damage. But no, look at Stratus once again,
Dustwind have put some tactical sticks on to try and hold Stratus at bay, but unfortunately, I think they might be just tactically too far away.
And that gash in Dustwind is getting bigger and bigger. It's almost as if Stratus is going to saw their way through the whole robot.
It seems to be stopped. It looks like Harry Potter with a scar on his head, I must say.
And the judges' countdown has begun.
And that is a win for Stratus.
So immobilized, and look at Stratus with the showmanship. But unfortunate for Dustwind, there wasn't much they could do.
Activate. Here we go. Angel Slice trying to get spun up, but it hits a wall straight away.
Great
And
slam
a
by Angel Slice, and over goes Vertex, back on its wheels now, back on the attack.
And
over
a good
goes
hit.
Angel Slice.
Very good hit on Angel Slice, and I think the belt has come off of Angel Slice. It isn't spinning any longer.
No, it's not. It's smacked around by Vertex as well, recovering well from that earlier clash with Stratus and chasing Angel Slice around the arena. Very well indeed.
Some excellent hits from Vertex. Angel Slice taking flying lessons very seriously.
Absolutely, and it's come back down to earth with a bang, but the pit is now able to be activated. Over goes Angel Slice again, stuck in that corner.
And I might have seen a little whiff of smoke there. I'm not sure what from.
Oh,
huge hit, and another.
Pit activated. Who will fall victim to it? Angel Slice probably the only option left to him really is either break Vertex or shove it down the pit, and Vertex's spinner has stopped.
I wonder if he's trying to control the fight or whether he's suffered some damage somewhere along the way. Was that smoke from him earlier? Was it from
Possibly.
Angel Slice? We're not sure.
The benefit here for Vertex is what it has the wedge, so it can push Angel Slice easier than it can be pushed around.
But you say that.
I
It's
do
doing
say
a pretty good job of it at the moment.
Plenty of power in both these machines, obviously not for the weapons at the moment, but
Yes, this has become a pushing match, as is the way with long spinner fights. Those spinners tend to be the first thing to break.
yep, absolutely. And Vertex struggling on one side, maybe, or no, it's okay. Seems like
I think
he was
trying
struggling
to
a
get
little
some
bit.
position. I'm not sure. I think you might be right. I think it is struggling very slightly on one
Yeah,
side.
it's not running freely, let's say that much. Angel
Not
Slice
quite
back
getting
in the
the
centre of
position
the
it
arena.
wants. Angel Slice and Vertex meet once again, pushing into each other. Circling now, the lovely
There's
pirouette.
definitely a little bit of smoke from Angel Slice. It came from the top there. Looks very hot. It is quite hot today.
It is very hot today.
I think Angel Slice is now dead on that left-hand side as well, and it goes to our esteemed panel of judges.
Yes. Here we go then. EMP, Swag Demon, or Swaggy D, or whatever you want to call it.
Oh,
Meeting
big
in the
connection
middle,
there from
and
Swag Demon, and destroying the back end of EMP.
Can it EMP
The
self
link's
right
out.
there?
Link's on the floor.
Oh, well, no, it can't then.
It's done, and that was very, very emphatic, wasn't it? Really. Sam,
Swag Demon.
how could you? He's worked so hard on that robot, Sam. How could you?
An excellent win.
Pringy's out for Philo.
Away we go.
Seventh
Very
circle
slowly.
up to speed. Just lifting up very slightly. Schnake trying to get in there as well. There was some engagement of four.
See, seventh circle is struggling on that right-hand side again, isn't it?
Yeah,
Look,
it's definitely not happy, is it?
And Schnake wisely keeping clear. I wonder if they're going to try and wait it out. Wait for that pit to go down and just simply dump them in. Or they won't listen to me and they'll just send it.
No, just go for a good old push. I hear that's what's best. We want an actual
Pit
fight,
is
don't we?
enabled and the pit has been activated. Seventh circle in the air now.
He won't want to be facing his back end. That is where his removable link is. Very close to driving in the pit as well.
Was circling around seventh circle, so that means that's an eighth circle. Oh, big connection! Almost in the
Absolutely
pit!
shot across the arena.
But it
I don't think
survives.
it's moving from there. That was a huge hit.
What a connection from seventh circle. It almost holding one into the pit, but what a win for seventh circle, spinning in delight.
Well.
Begin! It's all very static there at the beginning, but now we're getting going. So Lancerfrog making in that initial move, Digestive getting their front up against them, but they're both really low to the floor, and Sir Lancerfrog up into the air, a nice vertical little space there, and now we're going up against the side.
Ooh, big hit there from Digestive, who has to turn away and trying to gyro its way around the arena. I think they're struggling with left side drive there.
And they really are struggling with that maneuverability, whereas
So
Sir Lancerfrog,
is upside down but still driving fine.
but they're getting on top of that spinner, and that is throwing them all over the place. So we're seeing some sparks fly once again, getting on top of that spinner.
Now that's been causing all sorts of damage. What is that awful racket? Digestive seems to be still.
And the pit has now been lowered, and as you said, Digestive do indeed seem to be still.
I think they're having some problems with their spinner touching something else inside or underneath the robot. There is a count on for Digestive, but they are still just about gyroing around.
Well, every time they move, the countdown stops. So it's up to Sir Lancerfrog to do something about it. And Sir Lancerfrog, not really a jumpy robot, but that spinner really is getting them into the air.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
now we're seeing a little bit of they're both stuck on top of each other.
Trying to free itself as the Lancerfrog is just not happening, is it? In fact, it's walking both robots around. We have paused the match.
We are re-engaging. And now you can see Digestive spinning, and what a loud bang there. And now we are officially beginning. So Lancerfrog is trying to maneuver themselves. They really need to get themselves flipped back over because they are not the right way up for their strategy. But the countdown has begun.
Digestive keeps stopping for some reason. They're now up against the wall, and this could be it for them. And they've done the thing! They have done the thing!
What is the thing?
They are up on their spinner, no wheels touching the ground, and that is the thing. Here we go. Aggro Wobba has some new forks on and the Wobba face on as well this time. Not the big HDP block. This is going to be a more control battle.
And it is just a maneuverability. Maneuverability is key, and up against the side. Oh, what a brilliant pin. But up into the air and over. A suplex. Brilliant stuff in here.
Babrog just managing to get hold of Aggro Wobba's Smithers Edition, lift them up.
And Babrog so far taking control of this fight. There was a little bit tit for tat, but that grapple really is a massive statement. And let's see if they can get another one in before the timer is over. But they are struggling to engage with each other. Now we're getting to see it. Will we see another flip?
I'm not sure. Didn't quite have the right position there for Babrog. Aggro Wobba goes for the pit button, trying to get Babrog down that big old hole in the arena floor.
And now we're starting to see them. They edge ever so closer to the pit. Babrog is right in the wrong position. Can they get pushed in? They're going the long way round, the scary way round.
Good driving there from Babrog. Now Aggro Wobba is close to the pit. They'll have to drive very carefully round the
and
pit.
Can they get their way around? And yes, they
Babrog's
can.
going to try and cut down that driving area.
And in they go! So there we have it. You saw that.
And we have Metis 2.0 in the blue.
And Metis trying to get in to stop that spinner from getting up momentum, but it's too late now. The damage is done.
Oh,
And
big
look
damage.
at that.
The internals are external. Metis has been exploded.
And that is now the back carcass absolutely
And they are
ripped off.
stopping the fight. The internal electronics are on show. If the spinner were to hit that, we could see fire, and that would be built by Mr. Jack Tweedy.
So here we go. We got that hammer saw coming down, or waiting for that to come down, I think it is. And Boom Zoom's really just mini Boom Zoom's just
He's staying out of the action for now.
nipping on the side. It's just a little shrimp nipping at the hills, and they get slammed up against the side of the arena. And down
Anomaly
comes
is
the
lifting
hammer.
the lifter.
But there's not much weight to that robot. They're lifting themselves up off the floor. It's almost as if they're not doing much damage.
It's a bit crazy, and I don't think the spinner's spinning quite right yet. Anomaly with a lift there, trying to get in.
But look at how barbaric. Look at how crazy it is. Don't go near it. That is mental.
It is doing its very best to be as aggressive as possible. It's doing a pretty good job of it, actually, at the minute.
I mean, the aggression is there, the damage is lacking, and they're meant to be working with Mini Boom Zoom, but they're knocking them out of the way so that they can get back to the aggression. And look at them, they're starting to push them out of the way. Mini Boom Zoom, the only thing Mini Boom Zoom's good for, really, is hitting the pit button.
Yeah, definitely. Either that or getting in the way, a nuisance spot of the opponent. Anomaly.
And look at it, just non-stop bombardment of hammers coming down, and now we're seeing the pit button being hit. And correct me if I'm wrong, if Mini Boom Zoom goes into the pit, that's both of them out?
No, this is just a smaller robot. It has to be the main weight of the robot goes down the pit for that to be a knockout.
So we went up against the corner now, very much cowering in the corner whilst the hammer keeps coming down.
I think he may have got his fork stuck in the wall there, but has managed to get away.
and nicely, well, I was going to say nicely revolved, and now pushing them others into the corner, and that was a flip, and now we've got them upside down, but they get vertical again, and back to the hammering. They just will not stop. The aggression is ruthless.
Relentless attacks all the way through this battle. Another good flip there from Anomaly, but is it
And
too
into
little
the
too
pit
late?
goes
There
Mini
Mini
Boom
Boom.
Toon.
And that is it. Seed
So,
called.
in the red and in the blue, I'm not sure.
It is the wonderful Voltageist. Had to think for a minute there.
So grapple turnover, they have a grapple on their robot. They're going to be looking to get the grips on their enemy and then lifting them up, rotating them like a rotating crocodile. But they're really struggling to get that grapple around their opponent.
Yeah, it's just too thin for the grapple diameter. I don't know how to describe it really. The size of the robot that they need to be grabbing hold of, they can't quite get a good grab on it to turn it over. Meanwhile, Voltageist is having problems with their forks. Some are up, some are down.
And this is really a battle of pushing and shoving, so the pit button has been enabled. None of the competitors are going over to it yet. They don't really want to engage with that. Voltageist again, their forks are getting stuck on the floor, so it's really difficult. And is this going to be a grapple? Almost an opportunity for a grapple, but yeah, their forks are just too wide. They are unable to get the purchase, and as I say that, up they go. Grapple now putting Voltageist up against the wall, and is that Voltageist out?
That could well be it. They are stuck up on their link. No wheels
3,
touching the ground.
2, 1.
And that
They
is
are
it.
out. Activate. Let's go, and they're both charging into the middle, and the boring bot is not boring. Look at the aggression.
Very quick out of the gates, but grapple, not grapple turnover, we had that in the last fight. Deja Two.
Deja Two, but look at the pirouetting. Boring bot is literally running circles around Deja Two.
Yeah, it should be Deja Two driving circles around with those mechanism wheels, trying to get all around. Now with the grab.
And a bit of an entanglement there. Boring bot getting caught on the pit, but still doing a brilliant job to navigate, to maneuver, and to escape Deja Two. Look at them, they are absolutely dodging. Deja Two is trying to get the pincers, the forks underneath Boring Bot. Boring Bot's having none of it, now shoving them up against the corner. Will anyone activate the pit button? Will we see the pit enabled?
A good grab from Deja Two, but Boring Bot away again. And now it's Boring Bot in with the grab, and
they're wedged up against the side. Deja Two is up against the side. Boring Bot has won, and the countdown has begun. 3, 2, 1, they are enabled!
Igor.
So Igor's going to be looking to charge into Gyro, put them on their side, and that's pretty much the end of the fight. Although saying that, the Gyro is now getting up to speed.
And I don't think that is it. I think they're a bit stuck together, but he might be able to get out of that.
So as soon as Gyro gets going...
He does indeed get out of that, and Igor does not look overly mobile. However, neither does Di-Fi.
So Ji-Fi, for those in the audience, Ji-Fi is trying to walk. Activate! And Enigma dodging N-Boss as N-Boss goes in for the initial battle. Their
Excellent
spinner
driving.
is up.
Now upside down though, but Enigma self-rights quickly and gets round behind N-Boss. N-Boss does the same, hitting that rear HTP, but as I said earlier on, very thick and not really doing too much to Enigma.
And Enigma doing a brilliant job to get the side of their robot. How many flips was that? That was all over the place, but landing on their wheels.
Yeah.
Landing on their wheels, and now they have M-Boss up against the side, so Enigma's turn. But
big
they have
hit to
been
the face.
thrown right across the arena, and
There
that
are
is the
wires,
shield
there
gone.
is face, there's stuff everywhere. End-Boss is causing all sorts of damage, and Enigma is looking for that pit button, I think.
So this
We
is
nearly
really
found the out of the arena zone though instead.
This is really not what Enigma wanted. So close to the Uta zone. If they get knocked over, they are out, but that is the pit now engaged.
He won't go
to
down without a
N-Boss.
fight. There goes the front armour, and there goes the front fork,
And they're so
and
close.
he's tapping. That is a tap out. Enigma. It's Morbin
Activate.
time.
And
Here
that
we
egg
go
beater
then.
gets up so quickly, and immediately the Barber is being thrown all over the place. Gaelic Gladiator is up to speed with that brilliant ramp, putting them into the egg beater, and they're really trying to, almost getting hit by the saw blade. Is the the Gaelic Gladiator as Barber comes down with the sword blade, up against the side, up against the wall.
The
And
Gaelic-
those Omni wheels are being really difficult, really challenging to maneuver, and I think the Gaelic Gladiator is trying to challenge and take out those Omni wheels so that it can get the mobility advantage.
Yeah, absolutely. The strategy points that the judges will be looking at. Barber Surgeon's looking to get those catcher sections in front of the Gaelic Gladiator, but at the minute, Gaelic Gladiator's just getting round to the side and attacking those sides.
And you have to say, those extra prongs that the Barber put on, they're actually protecting them incredibly well. I didn't think they'd do that much to protect them, but they're protecting the Omni wheels, stopping that egg beater from getting too close.
That was a good position, and the sword did come down. I don't know how much damage it did.
Oh, and we're hearing the grinding of metal, sword blade against the egg beater.
And the egg beater
is
seems to be down
stopped.
as well. Perhaps they've cut something.
No, they're back up and running now.
I'm
So,
not sure. They're not looking too healthy. I think their spinner may well be down here.
and now this is becoming a battle of pushing.
However, the Barber Surgeon seems to be still in the water.
But will the Gaelic Gladiator want that? Will they want to count out, or will they want the pit? They're getting ever closer. Will we see the pit become a part of this fight as they're so close on the edge? They're so close, and now, is that in? Is that in? They're so close. There we go.
That'll do it.
Activate and Gear Down is immediately chasing into Slamko, and now we're seeing a real aggression battle. Slamko is really just dawdling around the middle, but Gear Down, what is going on? They do not have any protection on them whatsoever, and their arm seems to be the wrong side of the robot.
Well, that arm is a big hammer that comes swinging over, as you've just seen. Can cause some big damage as well.
So immediately going into the rubber wheels, which actually is a valid target for that hammer.
Absolutely. The armor on Gear Down for What is lacking because of the weight of the other components. It's all brushless and all weighs quite a lot. That's why it's got so much speed.
So much aggression, but Slamko really struggling, as you mentioned, to move around this arena, and it is so low to the ground. Potentially that's the reason why, but they managed to maneuver themselves to the pit button. The pit will be dropped, and Gear Down for What has to be very careful. It's a quick robot, one mistake and they're into that pit.
Some excellent control though from Gear Down for What, and another great axe hit. That front section is pivoting as it should, but they don't want to get stuck up on a wall. Another good axe hit.
And I
from
feel
the
like
hammer.
the axe arm is almost too rigid because Slamko's getting too high up onto Gear Down for What, and that's stopping the axe from coming all the way down. It's actually protecting Slamko.
Yeah, definitely. They're trying to get lined up for another good hit. Trying to go for a push, trying to get Round-Eye Slamko down that pit.
And we're getting close to the end now. 30 seconds remaining of this battle. So will we see anyone go into the pit, or will it go to the judges? Both look to be a little bit stuck. Gear Down not really maneuvering as much as you'd expect. No, they are fine. And it is Slamko that's getting counted, but they're maneuvering. And now we're seeing Gear Down getting closer to the pit.
Very
Slamko
good
backing
push.
away. But they've got to be careful. Slamko, you're in this danger zone. Can Slamko get around there maneuvering? But Gear Down just can't really get any closer to him. Oh, they're so close on the edge.
But it
Oh,
goes
look
to the
at how it
judges.
ends.
Activate. Here we go
And
then.
Luchador running to the red zone, but Flipping Spree getting out of the way, and Luchador straight underneath, but Flipping
This is
Spree now
already
back.
a fast and frenetic fight. Flipping
Oh,
Spree
look
upside
at
down,
that.
but self-righting.
And that was a successful, very successful self-right. That's a confidence booster. And now it's Luchador's turn to self-right, and they do. So both of them capable of self-righting, which means we're going to have a proper battle. Uta Zone is going to come into play, or the pits is going to be aggressive, and it's all going to be about who can get under the other.
Both of these robots are very, very well driven. Both of them very
Oh, the outer
here.
zone!
As I was talking about good driving.
Begin.
Activate. Here we go then. Night Fury getting up to speed. Ares trying to cut down that angle so they can't spin up.
So Night Fury is a spinner, they're trying to do as much damage. Ares is all about controlling that spinner, stopping it from power up, but Ares is looking to be immobilized.
Once again, being caught on one of those arena seams. It's just too low to the ground for its own good.
And I can see the wheel spinning, but it's just not moving.
It's not. That armor underneath the robot, just too low to the ground.
Activate.
Here we go then. Sproing getting in and a big hit straight away. Disco dancing around the floor. It's Zephyrus on its face. A good old head spin. I love it.
And now Sproing position themselves to the side of Zephyrus. That is where they want to be. They don't want to engage with this. the
Big
massive
damage.
spinner, and look at that damage. Plastic shrapnel flying everywhere. But Sproing is not out of it, still trying to get in there with their flipper.
I'm not sure it's still in it anymore. Those wheels have been absolutely shredded on the near side.
Activate! And Corrosive moving in, but so is Head for the Exit. Both of them getting their weaponry up to speed. And
Head
I
for
can
the
hear
Exit.
some noise, something's hitting the arena floor.
He's struggling a bit. Once again, that drum is hitting the floor. So maybe he didn't. Oh, there goes the saw blade, snapped in two.
So Head for the Exit is now weaponless.
And
And
there
what is
goes
that?
the front plough of Head for the Exit as well. And there goes a wheel.
Cover your ears, everyone. This is getting a loud fight. And oh no, Head for the Exit is trying to self-right. They look to be stuck.
What a headstand.
Can they get underneath? Can they get returned upside down?
And that's the fight. CSB Echo in blue.
So AOB is the flipper robot with their gas pressurized bottle, and Echo is very much a shunter box. This is going to be a battle, and is that already immobilization put up against the arena wall? Jevon, what do you think?
I mean, there's not going to be long enough to tell you all about what I think, because I think the fight is over.
Activate! And Boom Zoom's going to be looking to stop Let the Good Time Stroll getting up to speed, but is that Boom
No,
Zoom
I think
stuck?
I think he's waiting for Let the Good Time Stroll to do that, in fact. Use the arena against it. Get that robot spinning itself against an arena wall. It means that it's not damaging itself.
So you can see Boom Zoom positioning themselves either to the side or the back of Let the Good Time Stroll, and almost that drum almost rotating and hitting Boom Zoom. This is really Boom Zoom's opportunity to decide how they want to engage. Pushing them
definitely.
up against the pit side of the wall.
Boom Zoom has got them in a pin there, and pins can last 10 seconds before they have to release.
And is that
But
a flip?
It's a lovely self-ride. The roll cage on top means it's back on its shuffling legs, ready to shuffle a bit more.
Oh, and that's some smoke, that's some
but that
serious
is a big
smoke.
smoky fire.
So everyone, clear the way, stay seated where you are, stay seated where you are. We have safety precautions in place.
If we can clear a channel for Dave to run through with a big box, that would be very helpful. Thank you very much.
So yes, we have safety measures in place. This is a controlled procedure. Dave will now run that box outside. And please do not obstruct him. He will run that box outside.
There he goes.
Oh, lovely maneuver there as they separate out to go around the sides of Brug.
They do very well to work together. They always
yes.
manage to sort of surround the opponent and really bully them into it.
That's right. I think it's because they're jazz musicians outside of Robot Combat. They can really channel the jazz within.
Wheel has gone from Brug.
Oh my goodness, yeah. And a nice lift into the wall as well from Rust Pieces.
Not the sort of damage I expected from this fight, I must admit, but damage all the same.
We'll take what damage where we can get it. They're all just having a little tussle against the wall right now.
Yeah,
And,
back and forth, back and forth. That pin will have to stop at some point.
we might need some separation, but no, they have freed themselves.
Brug struggling on one wheel. Hasn't yet been counted out, but maybe it might be now. It has no wheels on the floor.
No wheels on the
Oh, no, there we go.
spoke too soon. He's just about keeping himself balanced enough to have a wheel on the ground.
This is a bizarre fight, I won't lie.
So Rust and Pieces have opened the pit now. The pit is now open. And now they're going to try and get Brug in there.
There's going to be some coercion, I think, to try and move Brug towards that pit. A bit of teamwork, which they're doing really quite well.
Yes, they've just sort of corralled, surrounded him. Brug has nowhere to go, but probably
A
down.
little push, a little shove, and down they go.
Oh,
The win
lovely
is Rust
stuff.
in Pieces. Let's get it going.
Spinning up.
Some interesting driving motion
for the
from
big
Stratus. Getting in the hits on top of Angel Slice. That's very well armoured up there.
Definitely some debris coming off of it.
Oh, a huge hit! That is structural. The spinner looks a tad loose inside.
Yeah, that top bulkhead looks a little bit bent upwards.
Another big hit, just scraping a massive gash in the top. And another huge hit, but hitting that pit release button. They'll need to be careful of the pit now. Angel Slice very close to it.
You can see why so many of the Roboteers here fear Stratus.
It is such a presence in the arena, it fills it. Another big hit and that top panel is coming off, I think.
Andy and Angel Slice really persevering. Fair play to him.
You got to wonder what Angel Slice can do. That is probably quite a good plan, but now upside down and with all the damage to the top panel, that's going to really hinder their performance. They're limited drive and they are trying their best to get away from the pit, but sticking a wheel over the top of it.
The countdown has begun on Angel Slice.
And the showboating from Stratus. A massive round of applause for the winner. And 4 more points for Stratus. Let's get Crabby or Vertexy if you wish.
Crabby or Vertexy. I just hope we don't see any crab paste out there today.
A little nip there from Vertex on Grab Crab's front forks, but seemingly
Grab Crab doing a good job of keeping it away.
Oh, that is
sorry, Joe.
A jinx there from you. Just as we were saying it, but now getting in underneath, trying to lift Vertex up and getting a good
look at that grab.
That is a very good grab and a very good grab, and something is smoky.
The forks through the wedge on Vertex.
Not quite as big a smoking pile as Let the Good Time Strollers earlier.
Poor old Stroll.
And this is, I believe the term is bullying.
Surgical crab.
Here we go then, Swag Demon up to speed with that drum, but catching an arena edge there. Interesting.
Terrifying spin up on Swag Demon, so fast.
That was a good hit, using him as a hat.
Big fan of the hat approach.
Swag Demon looking to line up the shots. Another big hit through the air. The acrobatics of Schnake.
Schnake looking slightly worse for wear. Is it going to go over the wall, or is Sam going to leave it there?
I think that's going to be it. I don't believe Schnake is even moving.
Sam's going to hate me for saying it, but that was surgical.
Here we go then. Grabber formation, and it's working quite nicely for Step Up 3D.
So we saw their EMP and both of them actually charging into each other, and they bounced off. EMP bounced off the shield there of Step Up. That shovel is massive. That really is making it difficult.
It's like
but
a
now
snowplow.
EMP are now getting underneath, and this is going to be a battle of wits. I reckon that plow is also going to make it challenging for them to fall into the pit. Step Up there, making it difficult for them to win, or lose I should say, for them to lose this battle of attrition. The pit button is now enabled. Will it be touched? EMP now putting Step Up against the side, and I think that's the button being hit. The pit is now lowering, and the danger zone has now expanded. So not only do we have the Utah zone, we have the pit area, the abyss, and EMP seems to be stuck in the corner. Step Up now taking control of this fight. That shovel really is scooping up EMP. EMP so close.
Very, very close to going down the pit there. Another good grab from Step Up 3D. This is going very well, much better than their first fight did, where they ended up in about 40,000 different pieces.
But now EMP have found themselves behind the shovel, and they're scooping into the side of Step Up, ripping the paper. Has that done some damage? I'm not sure to the electronics, the internals.
Well, the electronics are inside their own little box inside there. They are quite well protected in actual fact, but it's the motors aren't that well protected. They're very wide outside of that box.
So a little bit of damage potentially on the inside. 30 seconds left
There's
for them
definitely
to...
a wheel looking loose, and now on Step Up 3D as EMP gets right underneath, pushing them into a sidewall. That good pin can only last for 10 seconds.
So what can be done in this last closing stage is Step Up shunting, but it is a pushing match. It is a two raging bulls tussling against each other, and look at that. EMP
An
now
excellent attack.
upside down, but is there enough time for them to need to self-right? I don't think they need to.
I don't think so, but that is going to be it.
Activate!
Here we
and
go
Zephyrus now waiting to spin up, and we can see the sparks flying as they hit the arena rule. Babrog taking a little bit of a evasive action, almost backing away. They don't want to be hit.
That was a fun move.
And we're spinning around, up and down, around the arena we go. Will we hit the Utah zone? I do not know. But Babrog trying to take control, and is that Zephyrus out of action?
Zephyrus is on its face. The weapon belt is laying on the floor. You can see it there. Babrog, that armor package has paid off.
So after all of that dancing, all of the showmanship,
Activate!
And straight
Once
away,
again.
grinding against the floor, is jumping up and down. Cover your ears if you're getting a bit loud, but now we're lifting them up. Finally a bit of peace and quiet, but not for long.
Doing backflip after backflip is Ultra Violence. Aggro Wobba Spinners Edition has put that big block of plastic back on.
And absolutely destroying the arena floor is Ultra Violence. That is just destruction.
Ultra
untethered.
Violence, I think, has a build coming its way.
Absolutely destroying the arena floor. David is not very impressed, but Ultra Violence still there, trying to cause some destruction. Look at them jumping
They're
around.
back on their wheels. That doesn't mean they're going to stop making loud noises because they're bouncing off the floor too much. That was massive!
That was Aggro up in the air. They're now upside down, so their scoop is not where they need it to be.
But Ultra Violence is bouncing its way around the arena.
And
It
now
may bounce its way into the pit or out of that arena. We will have to wait and see. Can Aggro Wobba hold them off for long enough?
well, there's now a pirouette, a dance of robots as they try and stay away. Aggro Wobba staying away from the drum, and Ultra Violence hitting the floor. Oh, finally a bit of peace and quiet, but for how much longer?
That wedge is not attached very well anymore to Aggro Wobba. Ultra Violence now upside down but pinned in the corner by Aggro Wobba. A good move from them.
And that drum is now constantly, repeatedly bashing against the floor, but they're being put into the corner. Aggro Wobba came in control of this fight. So the damage has been done by Ultra Violence, but Aggro Wobba is now taking some control.
Aggro Wobba is struggling to move quite as well as they would like.
And I think that's true for both of the robots that we have in the
Most
arena.
certainly, yeah. Ultra Violence still smacking its way around the arena, off of the floor, trying to get a good bounce, but not finding him.
2, 1,
And that is the
end.
match.
Activate.
Here we go then. Voltageist moving across, trying to get Digestive stopped from spinning up, and it seems to have worked for now because it isn't spinning.
It isn't spinning, but Digest is also very, very quick. It's so nippy around there. I feel like it has a lot more pushing power. Maybe doesn't even need the spinner for this fight.
Possibly not. Voltageist, meanwhile, holding that plough. It says something on it. Risk it for a biscuit, I believe, is the phrase written atop that piece of HDPE.
So I think it's safe to say the spinner is definitely not working on Digestive, but I don't think they need it. They seem to have the pushing power. They seem to have the control of this fight. And it's really just a battle for Voltageist to stay in this as they get thrown against the side of the wall.
Voltageist certainly is struggling to find its way around the arena, going for the arena pit button. But
And
it is
Digestive hitting into
very
Voltageist.
slow and sluggish.
And now this is dangerous for Voltageist. They were on the wrong side of the pit, but unfortunately for Digestive, they didn't have the traction to push them into the pit. So let's see. It's a game of pirouetting, balancing around each other. Digestive now pushing Voltageist in the corner.
Yeah, that pin lasting 10 seconds and then away.
So you cannot pin your opponent for longer than 10 seconds. You need to allow the fight to continue. And now we're seeing it turn around as Voltageist, I think, almost kind of gets a pin on Digestive, but that's immediately returned again up against the pit button.
Yeah.
And it's so close to the
it's
edge.
Driving mistake
Voltageist so
there.
close to the edge. Will Digestive rotate? Oh.
No, Digestive backs off and Voltageist is given the opportunity to escape.
So a missed opportunity there for Digestive. If they were quick enough, they could have pushed Voltageist into the pits.
I think they were hoping for a count-out, but that count-out won't ever come if they've managed to escape from the pit.
Well, as you were talking about countouts, we're getting ever closer to the countdown as it now begins. 6,
Very
5,
close to the end,
oh,
and there
no!
goes Digestive at the very end of the fight. It's BadFutherMucker and it's Sir Lancerfrog, and there goes BadFutherMucker once again, flying through the air, but as is Sir Lancerfrog.
I have nothing to say. So Bad is absolutely destroying everything in his wake, including itself, you have to say, as the gyration lifts them off. They just can't get the purchase, and they're leaping all over the place. So Lancerfrog is just not needing to get engaged in this.
It's some of the best acrobatics you're going to see from fighting robots, I must say.
And when you're a competitor like Sir Lancerfrog, how do you engage in a robot?
I mean,
just
you've got to be thinking, what on earth can I do here?
oh, and now we're
That's some
starting
big
to see.
hits though,
And they're
but
out!
it doesn't matter.
Activate!
Here we go then. In the last fight we saw Attitude Adjuster in, their spinner wasn't spinning. Will that have changed for this one, I wonder?
Well, it looks so, but can they self-right is now their main challenge, and they're getting a helping hand by Contradiction.
I think it might have been a helping fist, actually, because it's been absolutely punted towards the sky.
Well, it was an opportunity to do some good damage, and look at that hammer coming down, trying to get some aggression done, but they've been missing so far.
That looks
Contradiction.
like a good spot.
Oh, listen to the grinding of the saws. Listen to that as it's slowed down.
Some excellent back and forth damage. A good hit there from Attitude Adjuster, turning Contradiction upside down. They struggle to drive when inverted.
And they really are struggling to move. Are we going to see a pit from
I think we
Attitude
may do,
Adjuster?
so long as he doesn't
We're
get
nudging
it wrong.
ever closer.
Attitude Adjuster has some problems with his drive though.
So we've got the countdown began for Contradiction. If they get going again, the countdown will stop. But we're at 3, 2, 1.
And that is
That
it.
is
It's a
it.
win to Attitude Adjuster.
Activate. And
Here
there we
then.
go. Eliminator going straight up against Baby Deadbod. They don't want that spinner up and running if they can help it. Sorry, Anomaly. I'm reading the wrong thing. Anomaly going up against Baby Deadbod. And that spinner is really not getting up to speed. They're
No,
really
it's
struggling.
not doing very well. And
It's-
Anomaly is able to get in and try and get a lift in on Baby Deadbod.
And there
As
we
you
go,
can
there is
see.
a lift. Didn't hold it though, so really just moving around, pushing around, and there's another lift, and Baby Deadbod really struggling. They don't seem to have a weapon in this fight. They really seem to be struggling, and now it is just a pushing contest.
The pit button has been pressed by Anomaly.
And Anomaly
They'll be
is
looking to
pushing
push him.
Baby Deadbod ever closer. Will we see someone go into the pit? It's getting very close. I don't think Baby Deadbod has the traction to get out of this, but does Anomaly have the strategic placing to get him in? They're very, very close, lifting him up,
Baby Deadbod's going to have to do some very careful driving around this.
getting
pit.
ever closer to the corner.
Anomaly just blocking him off, and now they are sort of eyeing each other up, seeing who's going to go for an attack first.
So it's a minute left on the fight. It's a game of
Baby
chess.
Deadbod is away once again, but Anomaly straight back over to try and lift him up and get him back over towards that pit.
And away they go. Okay, so they've cleared the pit area. So now we can get a bit more combat. Or have they? Anomaly doing a brilliant job shunting them over into the side. Another lift there by Anomaly. And Baby Deadbod getting closer to the pit.
Yeah, that was dangerous driving there from Baby Deadbod, but Anomaly is trying to cut down those angles, trying to find Baby Deadbod, and doing a very good job at it. Just
A
getting
very
the
good
lift
job.
in.
We're getting very close, but this is the thing. Baby Deadbod might want to flirt around the pit because Anomaly could accidentally move themselves in.
We've
We
seen it
almost saw it
several
there.
times today already. The robot that was aggressing has fallen down.
And the countdown has begun. This may go to a judge's decision.
And that is
Wow.
the match.
Activate!
Annie up to speed. Getting a little nick there on the side of Deja Two. Deja Two have their weapon lifted up so that they can do that sort of thing, absorb the hit and throw Annie across the arena. Annie should be used for that sort of abuse though.
And Annie really does have a fantastic shield. They are prepared for this fight. Sorry,
Now
not Annie.
upside down. Now
And this is where it's dangerous.
place to be.
As
Yeah.
soon as they get vertical like that, that spinner is out of control. Deja 2 taking a moment to step back. And I'm not sure if that spinner's going anymore for
Not only
Annie.
that, but Deja 2's wheels don't seem very attached either at the minute.
So now they're spinning on the spot. Deja 2 is going to look at this. They're going to get a grab in. Will they open the pit? And will we see a pit maneuver? I think that spinner has been deactivated.
Annie with a good push there, trying to get Deja 2 backwards towards the pit. Those wheels have very little grip on the mechanisms there on Deja 2.
And it's a really shoving match now as Deja 2 is waiting for that grapple. They're waiting for the right opportunity. They've lifted one wheel up. Can they get up? They are now stuck, caught in between the spinning disc. But it's a pushing match. Can Deja 2 get the traction? They're struggling. They're trying to get him over to the pit. It is very close, very difficult.
They've
And
turned Annie
now
over.
Annie is back where they need to be, but that
And
spinning
Annie is
disc
back.
still not working.
No spinner on Annie. It's a tough time, and it's going to be a tough end to the battle for Annie to win it. They need to get aggressive and not on top of that weapon.
So 30 seconds left. Deja 2 really needing to do something impressive here. They're getting some grapples in. They're lifting up. Annie, are you okay? But it's not enough necessarily to win the fight. It's going to go to the judges at this rate. The pit button is being pushed as we speak. The pit's already down.
Yeah. and there is only 12 seconds left in the fight to do something. Deja Two is somewhat still over that side of the arena.
I think Deja Two has had a wheel come off, so they're really struggling now for traction. Activate! And Igor running straight into the corner. They do not want Night Fury getting up and running. So look at that, power and aggression pushing him in the corner. But now we're hearing it, and we're seeing the sparks fly.
The eyes have gone, not the eyes!
So there we go, Igor's driving blind now as Night Fury ripping into that metal shield that's on the front. And Night Fury, I think, is really struggling to get that spinner engaged.
Yeah, certainly, you can hear it spinning up now, what a noise it makes. But Igor was doing very well at getting it stopped. The arena pit button has been pressed.
And the last thing Night Fury wants to be doing is getting close to that pit.
Very close to going down it. But they are away.
So when that spinner gets up to speed, they lose a lot of control. Nice amount of damage being done there. But Night Fury once again up and rotating around, getting close to the Uta zone. I think Igor has a battle plan here. They know that Night Fury is struggling to control. Ooh. And that was so close to the pit.
It's been a while since I've seen a move like that. Night Fury just skirting danger. Igor without the weapon on this time, a tactical decision just to take the brunt of those hits from the spinner.
And sometimes when we go up against a spinner, the shield gets ripped off. But this is really good for Igor. And into the pits. Activate.
Now, in the last two fights Ares has been in, they've got caught on an arena scene. Can they avoid the same fate a third time?
Well, their spikes, the forks in front of them really are low, and I can see them digging down. And this is going to be a shunting battle, all about control.
Excellent
up against the
lift there
wall.
from Rudimental. Can
Is that
escape?
it? Is that the end of it? Or will they self-right them? We're counting down.
I think their weapon may be down.
2,
that could well be
1.
The winner is Rudimental.
Activate.
So Mr. Cat's Mouse House has the bowl lifted and bringing it down on the top of Gear Down for what? Gear Down very fast. Now upside down.
And can they self-right? Do they have a mechanism? They do. So this is a really fast-paced battle because both of these robots are very quick. And Mr. Cat struggling to self-right, but they don't need to necessarily.
They can still keep moving even when upside down. There was an axe blow kind of from Gear Down for what?
I reckon this is going to come down to a pit box maneuver, but can they break through that plastic bowl with that axe?
There's always the potential.
So now Mr. Cat swallowing Gear Down for what and trying to capture them, but now pinning them up against the side, getting some good hits in with the hammer.
Very close to the out of the arena zone as well. That could have been curtains for Mr. Cats, but they do get away.
So Mr. Cat now hitting the pit button, and it's now going to be a case of staying away from that pit drop zone. But Gear Down is now wedged within Mr. Cat. They're nudging them around, and they're both in!
Activate! Here we go then. Luchador managing to do a good job of corralling Dr. Zaius into a corner. That spinner is still on Dr. Zaius. Is the whole robot still? That is a question. It looks to be a bit done in.
Luchador getting a little bit stuck and they're zigzagging their way away. But Dr. Zaius, I think, is stuck. I'm looking at the Roboteer and they're looking at it, seeing if they have any engagement, any control.
He is moving all of those controllers all around.
And the shake of the head, that sounds like it's it.
Crossblow has unfortunately forfeited this match. They took some heavy damage earlier on. So Wife just needs to show that they can move, and it will have won this fight.
So a win by default if they win, or win by forfeit I should say, and I think that's enough to satisfy the referees.
Activate!
And flipping spree, gritting underneath. Into the air we go for head to the exit. And head to the exit now, self-righting, successfully self-righting, but flipping spree, straight back on top of them, no time to recover.
Yeah, there's some good driving there from Greg, trying to get all around. Another good flip though from Tosser 3, and another, just not giving Greg and head for the exit the time to get back round, but that's a good position.
The turnaround, and now you can hear the saw blade getting to
involved.
work. And well, flipping spree trying to get away from it. They're now able to do so as there's only a 10-second pit or pin time limit. But look at this, flipping spree now back up, and is that?
Didn't even use the flipper there, just bouncing it off the wall with the speed and agility of Tosser 3.
But once again, head for the exit, getting the right way up. And now we're seeing the pit drop down. Both of these robots having to be careful. They're quick, they're nippy, but they're close to the Utah zone. Not quite. Head for the X again. Back on the right way, but they're so close. Knocked over the pit. So Flipping Spree doing the right thing there. Not falling into the pit, getting around. And well, you have to say they're living for the fight another day. Under a minute left to go, but is that the end?
It is.
They're walking away.
Something has gone wrong with the Sawbot of Head for the Exit. That's such a shame. That was such a good fight up until that moment.
Activate. And they said it's not driving, but look at that. They're getting out of the way. Slamco, they are getting into the fight, and they are upside down all over the place. Emboss not really engaging that much with the spinner. I think Slamco's doing a great job so far to keep out of trouble.
Yeah, you saw there getting put up onto its weapon, but those front wheels are so close to the front of the robot that it can.
And that is the battery disconnected. Activate. And here we go. So, Not a Drill is trying their best to get engaged with this fight. And oh no, that flag is already coming under attack from the Grappler.
It's an interesting fight. This. Both of these robots have struggled with wheeling, and we're seeing now who's the better at getting underneath when they are wheeling.
So the real challenge here is that when This Is Not a Drill accelerates, they lift up the front, and that means that they're not unable to scoop underneath. You can see it there. Every time they accelerate, they lift up. So they need to control that and get to the side of Brug, because that's really their weakest part, the easiest part to get underneath them, that and behind them. But the pit has now been dropped.
It has indeed, and that could be a good tactic for This Is Not a Drill, who has been driven excellently so far today. Brug really quite struggling at the moment to get angled up in front of This Is Not a
This is not a drill.
This is not a drill.
So you have to say Brug staying on the right side of the pit there, because This Is Not a Drill has the traction, has the acceleration, and Brug there with an interesting grapple, so holding down. But is that going to allow Not a Drill an opportunity to throw them into the pits? Not quite. Maybe to the out zone as they lift up that flipper.
That flipper lifting, that's good weapon usage. First time we've seen it properly used today, I think.
So a good opportunity there, but we're seeing now the forks of Brug are too low to the ground, and Not a Drill is unable to get underneath them, and they're now trapped once again in that grapple. But we have 30 seconds left of this fight, so can we get over to the pit? They're all staying very far away from that area, and Brug is doing a fantastic job, I think, to control this. I'm not too sure how the judges are going to rate it. It's really, really difficult. Brilliant controlled aggression on all sides.
Yeah, I would say so. Certainly, This Is Not a Drill has been initiating a lot of the combat, but losing the advantage driving up those forks and allowing Brug to get in there for a grab. This is going to be a tough one for the judges, I have to say.
Bby Shrekt in the red. And off we go. AOB is a flipper, but watch out for that compressed bottle, because if that bottle gets punctured by Bby Shrekt, you're going to hear a loud bang. And Bby Shrekt is obviously a vertical spinner doing a lot of damage. Up into the air we go.
Roof.
And there we go. The bottle, I think, has been punctured.
Yeah, there is a hole in that, and I don't think he's getting back down from there. Once the bottle's punctured, there's no flipper mechanism, and that is curtains for AOB.
So for those watching at home, the audience here, activate.
Here we go then. Angel Slice very quick up to speed. Joe has indeed taken those forks off and has gone for a different setup on the grabbers.
And you can see that Grab Crab did try and get a hold, but was thrown off by the spinning
and
disc
the weapon
of
belt
Angel
has
Slice.
come off again on Angel Slice.
So now it's
Broken
a push.
this time.
So now it is a pushing battle for Angel Slice. That's the only weapon they really have to their advantage. Meanwhile, Grab Crab, you can see their grab is still going very strong, and they're looking to throw, to suplex Angel Slice, maybe even out of the arena, but getting caught on the side of the wall there. Grab Crab not able to lift him over as much as they wanted.
The pit button has been pressed. Grab Crab think that they have the better drive system to try and push Angel Slice into the pit, perhaps.
So really, for the Angel
Angel
Slice
Slice
getting
might
very
do it for
close. So for Grab Crab, really the goal is to lift them up. What is Angel Slice doing? They're desperately getting close to the side there. Grab Crab is now in a dangerous position. Grab Crab
And
escaping it. So Angel Slice taunting Grab Crab over to the corner and the pit box, and you have to say that almost worked for them.
Yeah, very, very close to going down for both robots. Angel Slice is over the pit once again.
And is this a tease?
And that's it.
It wasn't a tease.
It was.
It's such a flat surface. It's
is.
hard for them to get any purchase. As I say that though, immediately disintegrated,
I think
and
you've
now
jinxed
they're
that one,
ripping
Gav.
into it.
I think you
What-
may have jinxed it.
What have I just
Swag
said?
Demon, though, is being pinned by Step Up 3D and
Is that
it's stopped.
Is that an immobilization? Is that stopped?
It's now free again. Step Up 3D is becoming 4D. If you catch a piece of robot, let him have it back.
So Swag Demon making short work there of the snowplow. They didn't have anything to do with it. The pit has now been enabled, and they are ripping into Step Up doing what they can. But what defense do they have? It's just plastic and paper. They really are exposed in this fight. They need to win the pushing battle. They need to get Swag Demon into the pits.
And to be honest, they're not doing too badly. At the minute, though, there is a wheel caught inside the drum of Swag Demon. It's now free again.
And you can hear the drum starting to clip away at the arena floor. Swag Demon, I think they are taking their toll. Obviously, when you do damage, it's not for free. There is going to be damage on that drum.
Yeah, certainly. There's always going to be some more damage going back at you. A wheel has come off of Step Up 3D.
And I'm seeing a stationary robot that looks to be immobilized, but they're still going, so they're still
The
in this
motor is
fight.
hanging out of the robot.
And up into the air, something goes. I'm not too sure what that was. Pure disintegration now, and it really is a pushing battle. 3 wheels against 4, but they're still doing it. Sorry, 3 wheels against 2, I should say. And I cannot believe this Step Up is still in this fight. Swag Demon is ripping into the side. They're now underneath.
That
They're
motor is
over.
all
They're
the way
getting
out of the
closer to the
robot now.
pits. Look at the carnage. Look at the shrapnel.
I don't believe it. I think Step Up's going to make another judge's decision, you know.
Are we going to go to the end? 4, 3, 2, 1. And oh my God!
Right at the end. Activate. Here we go then. More vertical spinner for Dustwind, who's had a really rough day of it so far.
And immediately the tape is being ripped off, and Vertex is just pushing them up against the wall and ripping into them.
Yeah, that is the top panel that's being held on with tape, and I'm not sure how long it's going to be held on for if that tape comes off.
Well, we're seeing the side pieces being ripped off, and yet the top piece is now, well, is that an immobilization?
I think that might be
Dustwind is
it.
pretty much out. The count has been started. Vertex has made their way over to the door. They think it's done. The crowd are cheering. They think it's done.
Here we go then. 7th circle up to speed. EMP bounces off the side and looks to be damaged somewhat. And another big hit there.
Up into the air once
Huge hits.
again is EMP, and can EMP
EMP
self-right?
trying to self-right, but I'm not sure it can.
And I can hear it. I can hear some gears twirling.
That is a tap out.
Activate.
Here we go then.
So Babrog looking to make a move, but then backing away, and now you can hear the drum grinding away against the floor. And look at this ballerina
Not
dance.
quite as bouncy as it has been previously. They have repaired it and taken off some of the material that is making it bounce off the floor.
But now look at Babrog. They realised that they had an opportunity there. They went back in for the attack, but that drum is too much up to speed. Babrog, though, an amazing job to constantly hit the side. But is that them unable to self-right? They're writing onto the drum.
That was excellent positioning there from Ultraviolence, who just had the right place in mind for them to come back down on.
And
Excellent
look at
self-righting
Babrog.
though.
Look at Babrog, able to self-right from almost any position there. Ultraviolence is really just holding the middle of the arena, saying, Babrog, you come to me.
A big hit there.
And I thought Babrog was going to go for the pit button, but he didn't quite go for it. They're deciding to battle this one out. And now once again trying to get to the side, but Ultraviolence is just too good. They're positioning that drum exactly where they need it.
This is a very different Ultraviolence to the one we've seen previously today.
A lot more controlled. And is that Babrog trying to hit the button? I can't quite tell. Or is it them going out? Not
Pit
quite.
button has been pressed. The pit is open.
So, just over 30 seconds of this fight left to take place, and Babrog is now really needing an exit strategy. That is the pits, because if you ask me, Ultraviolet is grinding away, and they are getting the aggression done.
Yeah, it's a bad place to be for Babrog, with Ultraviolence just having a go at the weapon section.
And listen to that noise, listen to it grind away.
But Babrog
The
is back
damage that
upright.
it's doing.
Will it still be driving when it backs away?
The last 10 seconds, Babrog
It's
just has
trying
to
its
survive.
best.
as Ultraviolence is looking for that knockout that it needs.
And that is the fight. It goes to the judges. It moves. That is something.
Well, both of them are moving very much so. So, a very much driver battle, all about pinning them up against the wall or lifting them, as we're now starting to see their Sproing getting lifted a little bit.
Yeah, Aggro Wobba has those low forks on, trying to get underneath the sides of Sproing.
And it's so difficult to fully engage with each other. Both robots just dancing around, pirouetting away from contact.
Yeah, Aggro Wobba is just trying to jock for position, Sproing waiting for the perfect opportunity to flip. Maybe.
And the pin button has been enabled, so who will be the first to go for it, I'm not too sure. But we're now seeing Aggro Wobbler trying to get the aggression, but Sproing right to the back. And it looks like they're a little bit stationary. No, they are moving, so we've still got this fight underway.
They did try for a flip there just to see if the system was working. It did lift, so...
Just like Aggro Wobber there trying to lift.
I think Sproing has been caught by the biggest arena hazard we have, the wall.
So if they have a ramp, that ramp can get stuck underneath. Aggro Wobber's coming over to try and disengage it.
Aggro Wobber is trying to freeze Sproing. They want the fight to keep going.
If anything, it looks like they're wedging them more into the wall. And I think that is the end of that attempt. So, is there going to be every time Sproing gets hit, the countdown has to begin again. So Aggro Wobbler is just making David's life a misery because he's constantly starting at 10.
And now you can see Sproing there shaking its booty.
It is very much twerking as it's stuck in the wall.
Activate!
And both of them taking the time to spin up. And now the first impact goes to Digestive. And look at that, but what happened
Digestive
here?
loses a wheel! Huge hit! The big sparks flying!
So is that damage done by Digestive or to Digestive?
I think a bit of both. I genuinely don't know. Digestive is not looking in a good way. It has done the thing.
And
It's upside down. And that may be it. It is. They've tapped out.
Activate.
Here we go then. It's Lancerfrog underneath grapple turnover at the start of this, but I think the forks got locked in there, so Lancerfrog couldn't do too much with grapple turnover.
And look at that as Lancerfrog lifts up grapple turnover. Grapple turnover not engaging in this fight necessarily the way they wanted, but now they're starting to find their way around. So Lancerfrog keeping that low front end in front of grapple turnover, and that's just stopping grapple turnover from being on the aggressive, constantly looking for a new angle to attack.
There was a moment there where I thought grapple turnover had an advantage, but they just got away from them. Once again there as well.
And the strategy for grapple isn't really that effective because Lancerfrog can drive on both directions.
Yeah, very quick, very maneuverable and invertible as well. Grapple turnover is going to struggle in this fight, but we have seen stranger things happen today.
Very, very true. So grapple turnover really looking for a way out, and now they're pirouetting around each other. Once again, grapple turnover is on top of Sir Lancerfrog. Sir Lancerfrog is actually struggling to control grapple turnover because they just keep escaping their grasp.
Now, Sir Lancerfrog had their lifter open, trying to get a hold of grapple turnover, I think, but they just managed to get away. Now up the right way, but
and that's incredibly
pivoting
close.
around the pit
They're on the edge
and falling.
In for the fight. And we have activated, and what an powerful shunt as we get going. That is such an amazing traction there from
Darren, as it's been renamed for the day, I believe, or Resistance. It is known for being an absolute beast of a pusher. You can see the way it's vibrating around.
But you have to say, Echo is doing a fantastic job to actually give it a challenge.
Yeah,
they're really not putting up. You know, they're not being pushed around. They're not being thrown around. They are challenging this fight.
It's a real back and forth because, yeah, I guess the thing is Echo's the same weight, but just in a much denser package. So they are actually kind of fairly equal on the pushing power.
And talk us through the difference between the shield and the forks, because Darren has the forks, Echo has the shield. Which one are you favouring here?
I think in this situation the forks tend to play out better. As you can see, most of when they actually engage, the forks tend to get under. But it depends how sharp your forks or your wedge are. So sometimes the wedge can win out. But I'd say in this situation, typically, as you can kind of see right now, the forks are getting underneath.
And Darren is very much drifting around the arena as Echo is doing everything it can to escape that pit.
And we're seeing a bit, Darren's having a bit, sorry, not Darren, CSB Echo having a little bit of control issues now, but maybe lost.
And is that it? Into the pit they go.
But what a great fight, you know? You
Contradiction in the
miss.
red. And I think that's Anomaly in the blue, but they're right away. Anomaly going right up to Contradiction, stopping that spinner from getting going, stopping the drum from getting going. And they're trying to get the flip enabled, but now they're up on top of Contradiction. And they're struggling to get into this fight. They are moving their flipper up and down, but the traction doesn't seem to be there. So Contradiction's going in now, and they're looking to get some damage done.
That's
winding
right.
away and grinding away at the wheels.
They've actually buckled up the wedge on Anomaly there, and that's actually causing Jack to have a problem with his drive, and that's why he's looking a little bit sheepish at the moment.
And these are some big, powerful shunts that we're seeing now from Contradiction.
Yes.
Contradiction wasting no time. They don't want to be in this fight for any
but he's
longer than they
upside
have
down. There's a
to.
nice lift there from Anomaly, so definitely back in the fight right now.
I was going to say, that's completely changed the
That's
dynamic
completely-
now, hasn't
yes.
it? Anomaly is now actually the one in control.
Yeah.
And all Contradiction can do is position that drum wherever Anomaly's coming from. But now the pit is lowered and they're getting closer. They're getting closer.
What a twist of events there, absolutely, because it was looking like all Contradiction's fight there. He had all the drive power, all the weapon, and now he's all the upside down.
And Anomaly has to be really careful here because all Contradiction needs to do is pirouette out of the way, and they might be going in, but the countdown has begun, and we're down to 2 and 1, and that is the end. Contradiction
unlucky.
is out. Activate. And here we go. So immediately dodging that spinner because the hammer is going to start to come down, and here we go.
Attitude
Hammering away.
Adjuster is spinning up to speed, and that was a nice hit on the top, and the wheel has gone from Metis.
So Metis is now one-wheel drive, and then really just pirouetting now. There's not much more they can do. So into the upper corner we go.
He's spun up again.
And here
Another
comes
big
the
hit on the
hammer.
top.
And was
And
that the
that's
other wheel? Is that the other wheel gone?
It is indeed the other wheel gone. That is. This is going to be a good fight, I think.
Oh, I
Annie, are
think
you
so.
okay? He needs to look for the angle on boring bot.
Jevan, the robots are fighting, look.
They're doing
Right
a
in
fight.
front of our very eyes. Incredible stuff right here.
Annie trying to get around the sides of boring bot. Managed to get up on top there. That's potentially very dangerous for boring bot,
That could be
actually.
dangerous. If that spinner hits a thing, it could be quite dangerous.
It could be very
Spinners are
dangerous
often
if it
quite
hits
good
a
at
thing.
that. Yeah.
But at the minute, boring bot doing a good job of controlling Annie in the corner. Got them up on that wedge.
Looks like he might have jammed up that spinner.
Most definitely has. Annie is back down. Is it spinning? That is the question. I'm not sure that it is.
I think that's the pit as well. Is now enabled.
Another lovely little waggle of those waggle sticks.
I love the way those waggle. I think it's great those, the waggle sticks. They're really quite effective. Just the controlling that fight. Look at that.
Boring bot doing a very
Look at
good
that.
job of controlling Annie all around, and Annie
Oh,
just missing the pit button there.
oh, nearly. Oh.
Once again up the wedge, and boring bot has full control of Annie.
I haven't seen Annie spinning for a while. You know?
No, I think it may be down.
Yeah.
Boring bot a full run into the wall there.
I tell you what, I'm not bored at this fight at all.
No,
This is an
very
exciting
good, very
bot. This is
exciting.
Exciting robot. This
Must be Annie that's doing it.
must have been. Yeah. Well, here we go. Oh,
Annie has lost a wheel while we were
Annie, are you okay?
we were having banter, and the
Annie
wheel
is-
came off.
They're not okay, are they?
They're not. No, Annie is not okay.
There's the countdown.
It is indeed spinning around. Get out of its way.
He's still moving though. Oh, but there's the countdown.
Unfortunately, it's not moving outside of its circumference, and
Oh,
that
Annie.
could well be curtains for Annie.
And there we go.
Boring Bob, the winner of that fight.
There we go.
Activate.
I love the way this thing moves as well.
Oh, big damage straight out of the gates there from Gaelic Gladiator. Has really done a big number on the
Oh,
forks.
that's a big. Oh, hang on. Hang on
No.
a minute. Hold the phone.
Gaelic Gladiator seems to have stopped dead
Quick.
in the middle of the arena. Make it look like you did it, Deja Two.
He's out of garlic. I don't think he topped up his garlic reserve.
Maybe he was bitten by a vampire.
Oh, he might have been.
Maybe
it'll work
Deja
at,
Two is a vampire. He
Deja
does have
Two.
fangs.
Be causing some carnage as
Here
it
we
starts
go.
to wind up and immediately goes into the pit wall, into the wall.
Ooh, big hit in the side panel.
And Night Fury is flying up and down as you would expect. And what's happening now? Rudimental is getting in there, stopping Night Fury.
The spinner is down on Night Fury.
No, Night Fury is back
Oh,
up
he is
and
back.
running. But Night Fury just can't keep control. And Rudimental putting them into the corner, trying to get them to the out zone.
Night Fury having some real issues at the minute, but that was a lovely throw there from Rudimental.
But look at Rudimental, they're stuck, or are they? They're seeming to be struggling, and that's giving Night Fury the chance to get in and do some damage.
That flipper still working very nicely though on Rudimental. I must say, it's been a very consistently good robot so far this weekend. Another
and look
massive
at that.
hit.
Rudimental just going straight into the spinner and Night Fury. They're willing to take on the damage head on. And there it goes, a big piece of the front chassis.
That's integral. They are tapping out, that is Rudimental.
A focus on control. And here we go, and once again the pirouetting, both Roboteers going right so that they're not a head-on collision, and Mr. Cat appears to be covering over Mr. Slamko.
Yes, Slamko is not in the best of ways apparently. I was talking to the builder Ruben earlier on, he was saying that don't talk about it. So that was a good sign.
So as long as it's in there, as long as it's still moving,
it
that
is
a good
moving,
day.
it's still driving around, so that is a big plus.
And unfortunately for Mr. Cat, Slamko's actually quite a narrow, slow, sleek robot. And that means that their drummer in the bowl is not actually doing any work at all.
Yeah. Mr. Cat has a bit of a push on though towards
and are we
the
going to
pit.
see it into the pit? All Slamko
is now
can do is go
slapping him
back,
and down goes Slamko.
Activate.
Here we go then. Ares is spinning in the corner. Di-Fi is spinning up.
And
Now
Ares,
can we get it to move?
Ares is struggling here. Ares is struggling on the arena floor, and we're actually seeing Di-Fi starting to move.
This is the gyro walker working as best as it possibly can.
And the timer, no one even realised, but the timer on Ares, that was up, and that was it. I believe.
It was Enigma. It is Enigma.
It is Enigma.
It looked
so
like Luchador from the back.
Gear down for what? And Enigma. And this is a very interesting battle because these are quick robots. And
That
now
was
the
a
axe.
meaty axe hit from
The axe is
Gear
getting in
down.
there right onto the face of Enigma, which is so unfortunate. That's such a pretty face.
It is. And I'm quite glad it's attached again because the last time I saw it, it wasn't.
Very true, very true. Ripped off of the hinges was Enigma's face. But now Gear down for what? Chasing around each other. And I wonder if we're even going to see the outer zone getting very close, and now the axe. I was going to say, I wonder if we see the pit come into play, but was very shocked that they made that way over to the out zone in that quick fashion.
The power behind Gear Down for what? It could potentially ram things out of the arena, honestly.
Just from the sheer force alone, and once again, Enigma up into the side, so there isn't much that they can do. They are being pushed, thrown around this arena, even getting closer to the pit. Can Gear Down get them closer, but Enigma, ever
Very
cheeky,
well driven.
ever cheeky, could have got out of the way at the last second, and I think they're tempted to just let Gear Down for what, drive themselves into the pit.
Gear Down for what? Because it's so fast, it's quite difficult to control, which could be an issue for them.
But I think that's also true for Enigma. They both are very quick robots, and we have experienced Roboteers at the helm, so that's why we're seeing such great control. But now it is a pushing battle, now it is a shoving match, and Gear Down for what is winning. Enigma's on the edge, and in it goes!
Down. Activate.
And look at the speed of Flipping Spree.
And he's using his flipper like a grabber and using that front plow to deflect the blows of the spinner.
And they're doing an incredible job to control this fight. They are just not, Dr. Zaius is not getting the spinner up and running, and look at him, it's not even moving as we speak. So is that enabled, and does that mean Flipping Spree has free reign of this fight?
It's over. It's over. Activate.
And look at
Corrosive
that. As we now have
is
Corrosive,
not spinning up to speed properly.
and that means Luchador is going to be a firm favourite for this battle because their gripper is going to be all over Corrosive. As
They
Corrosive
have the
cannot
wedge
fade away.
advantage, they have the grabber, and that drum is struggling to get up to spinning
It
speed.
really is struggling, so maybe one drive isn't working, maybe it's a dual pulley, not too sure what's stopping it from getting to the speed. They're trying to get some space to get it up to speed, but it's just not rotating.
No, absolutely not. He's still trying. He's stopping every now and again to see if he can get it spinning up. Focus on that drum.
And
but
all this time, Luchador is just sticking in the middle of the arena.
yeah, just waiting for him.
So the pit has been enabled, and that has given Luchador more opportunity.
But Luchador has lost one side drive by the looks of things, or is getting stuck a bit. It's
So
now
we're at
turning
the
in
end of the day. End of the day, the robots are really war of attrition. They're struggling to stay going.
Corrosive is trying its best. There was a little bit of a connection there.
So it got a bit more speed up, and we're hoping to see some sparks, but unfortunately it's just not getting the speed you want. Luchador, though, only has one-wheel drive. Look at it, it's rotating on 1 point.
Really struggling now to get around the arena, and surely it can't be long until there's a countdown, perhaps.
So we're seeing the drum starting to spin up, and now we're getting some light grinding, but it's not doing much damage, and I'm not sure how long this is going to continue. But they're getting ever closer to the pit now as Corrosive is backing away. And, well, Luchador is still pirouetting on that one wheel, but it's making its way around the arena. It's kind of seesawing its way around.
It is, yeah. Corrosive is going to want to try and get round to the sides of Luchador to see if it can get a good push in.
And I think Corrosive really has just gone to one side now. They're going to mess with some settings.
Those Corrosive
and they're going to see if they can get it up and running. And it seemed a bit more aggressive as it was running along the floor. That sounds more aggressive, but it just can't get engaged. And we've gone to the judges' decision.
Very close to the pit at the end there, but not quite enough. It's going to be a chaotic one. Annie, are you okay? Has a very good undercutting spinner. It's going to do some damage, I think, to Thwackanatan, who is what we call a thwack bot. It's got an overhead mace that comes swinging down, as you can see.
And the first bit of Lego's been disconnected.
Yeah, the face has gone from Annie. That's a usual thing that happens, I'll be very honest. Thwackanatan doing very well to try and get around, but Annie just closing down the gap.
And you got to say, these robots are quite interestingly matching each other because, well, Thwackum is quite high off the ground. Annie's really struggling to get to the body of that Lego model.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like a fight with Stratus, but slightly more bricky.
Well, the pit has been enabled, so down
Very
goes
close.
the wall.
One of the wheels on Thwackanatan is looking a bit wonky. I worry that when they fall down this hole, it could be fatal to one of the robots. Annie very close to going down there.
And it's turned into a shunting match. You can see Annie getting the spinner up and running, but it is just Lego, and Thwackum is way too high off the ground, so not much damage being done.
Yeah, that wheel, though, is looking very sort of wonky. I think wonky is the right word.
It's still on the wagon, though. It's still
it is
doing
indeed
what
on the wagon, or there goes
hubcap.
a bit of it. And the whole weapon assembly of Thwackanatan's gone as well.
And, well, I mentioned Annie not being able to do much damage. I was wrong. That wheel is slowly coming apart.
Yeah, it's definitely not straight anymore.
And there's more pieces, more little bits and bobs coming off of this robot.
And Annie's causing more damage. Channeling my inner Jonathan Pierce there from classic Robot Wars and indeed modern Robot Wars.
They did bring him back.
He did.
And I'm very glad because
And he still didn't know much about robots.
8, 7.
We're getting close to the countdown now.
Oh, Thwackanatan's gone. It's a win for Annie. Are you okay?
Activate.
There is Rust in Pieces, the clusterbot coming out of the blue square.
And Let the Good Time Stroll is winding up their spinner, and you can see the clusterbots are staying well away from that spinner. It is devilishly destructive, and they are doing a great job keeping them into the wall, but you see them getting knocked around now. So Rust in Pieces doing a great job to attack the sides, but is starting to cut in, and there comes the sparks.
Rust in Pieces has a distinct advantage in that it's two robots. However, they are half the weight of a regular Beetleweight robot. This is going to be difficult for Let the Good Time Stroll because they have to try and focus on two different robots instead of the usual one.
And of course, we've seen something happen here. So the pit has been enabled, but is that the end of Let the Good Time Stroll? They're winding down.
I think Let the Good Time Stroll might be dead in the corner there. The top panel seems to be gone.
So I didn't quite catch what happened there. I'm not sure if that was some damage done by Rust in Pieces or whether that was self-inflicted.
But the winner is Rust in Pieces. Here we go then, crossblow across the arena, and a blow given to This Is Not My Beautiful Wife, who is now upside down, waggling that waggle stick as hard as it possibly can.
And of course, Crossbow is really just trying to turn them upside down any way they can, but Not My Beautiful Wife is able to maneuver in pretty much any orientation, although as I say that, they've been flipped upside down, and the little pieces of cogs that's been attached to their bodywork, that's immobilizing them. They're really stuck on that.
You can see, yeah, that front fork getting stuck under the arena wall, but they are away now.
So Not My Beautiful Wife actually does have a limited movement.
And now up on their face.
Up onto their face. So we mentioned a limited movement. The countdown has begun. So that is the end of Not My Beautiful Wife.
And a win there for Crossblow 3. Activate!
And GrabCrab getting close, but Stratus is now up to speed, and that is knocking GrabCrab back into their corner.
But good deflections using that armor against them, and there's the wheel attack I
And
told
they've
you
done
about.
it! They have picked up Stratus, but Stratus, the weight distribution there really made it difficult for GrabCrab, and now we're seeing the sparks as that spinner is fully up to speed as Stratus gets on top of GrabCrab. But they're still in this fight, and that's a lot of
Some
damage
big
now.
damage. One of the claws has definitely gone, but they are caught together.
And that's a
GrabCrab
good
has a grab on the
entanglement.
wheels.
That was a good entanglement, so only one claw left for the crab. They've been declawed, but Stratus still wary of that crab as they picked him up again.
An excellent attack and another big hit there from Stratus. That was an impressive one.
And another big hit. So
The
a lot of
arena
damage
button
being
has
done.
been pressed. The pit has gone down.
So GrabCrab once again getting into the wheels. Those holes on the wheels are really being the downfall of Stratus.
Another big hit, and I think GrabCrab is struggling with one side drive, but they're not showing it at the minute. Being able to grab a hold of the wheels once again. That weapon seems to be stuck upwards. And they're caught under the wall looking for a hit from Stratus. Will it come?
So grinding on the top of the GrabCrab is Stratus. And I'm not sure if Stratus is going to just walk away because GrabCrab
I don't
looks
think
to be
GrabCrab is caught
immobilised.
anymore. I think he is done.
But oh no, what a shame for GrabCrab, but what a fight! What a fight!
That did not disappoint.
Amazing amount of damage yesterday, so let's see what they can do today. They've made some repairs over the night.
Big hit there
Angel
from
Slice
Angel Slice.
getting right in.
And another.
And I mentioned the damage being done to Dustwind. They're suffering again from Angel Slice. Are they immobilized? They're struggling in the corner, but let's see if they can get engaged into this fight.
Angel Slice was struggling with its weapon belts yesterday. That weapon belt has stayed on so far in this fight. They were also telling me this morning that in one of their fights, their weapon motor was just cogging. It means it wasn't turning properly. This is a very different Angel Slice to that one.
This is a full aggression Angel Slice, but is that the weapon stuck within
I think
Dustwind?
it is within Dustwind. It's fully wedged into the plastic, and whether it's in with the electronics as well, we don't know yet.
But I almost have to say that Dustwind looks to be winning the aggression of the pushing match here. So if they hit that button, or is this Angel Slice
I think that
controlling
may be
it?
Angel Slice.
And now needing to crowbar Dustwind to get Angel Slice out
There
of
it
there.
goes.
And then the pit will be engaged, and Dustwind is moving. They are still mobile, but rotating on one wheel.
Oh, more damage, more plastic, and more wheel shot across the arena, and Dustwind is not moving anymore.
And they are being counted out. 3, 2, 1.
Your winner is Angel Slice. Activate. Here we go then. Step Up 3D struggling to move on one side. It appears to be a bit jammed up on the front left side. Meanwhile, Schnake is taking a look, driving in, having a bit of a bump into them, but just eyeing up the competition here. They are now underneath.
And this
trying
is
to push
going to be a battle of the flippers. So
You
who
can see
get
that
stuck?
grabber lifting up, the grabber that's hidden within the top of the robot. But Schnake is stuck under the wall. Can they get away from there? If not, it's going to be a win for Step Up 3D.
And you have to say, I think a lucky escape for Step Up because they are really struggling. They are pirouetting around the arena.
That is it.
So prepare for some carnage, prepare for some damage as the spinners get up and running, and you can tell they take some time before engaging each other. And here comes the sparks. And Seventh Circle really struggling actually to get any purchase onto Swag Demon. Swag Demon though going right after the forks it looks like, and now underneath Seventh Circle, flipping them across the arena.
Those forks on Swag Demon even are getting lower than Seventh Circle. A good axle through the air there, full backflip.
But very importantly, landing on their wheels is Seventh Circle, so they're back into this fight, and once again rolling over, but they're on their wheels, so they're still in this, and they can still do some damage.
Seventh Circle now stuck up on the wall.
But they're rocking, they're seesawing. Can they use their spinner to get them disengaged from the wall? It is hooked on the rear end, so it looks like they are going to be stuck. They are down to 6, 4, 3, 2, 1. They are counted out.
What an unfortunate way to go out for Seventh Circle there. Activate.
And the spinner of Ultraviolence is up into the air goes Stratus, and they are up and around they go. So far, Ultraviolence not hitting the floor. They're getting a lot of damage done and good traction.
Yeah, you can see there the dance moves of both of them as that spinner comes round and hits from Zephyrus, but now Zephyrus is stuck on that base again. And Ultraviolence, I think, is going to leave them there. They need the points.
And well, we saw this yesterday. We saw Zephyrus getting stuck exactly like that yesterday, and it's happened again.
Well, that is it.
Battle of drivers.
Here we go then. Sproing and Babrog.
Got caught unaware there.
Up we go.
Sproing was busy away with the fairies, not even watching the countdown. And now we are battling, pushing against each other. So we're going to see Sproing trying to flip over Babrog, and Babrog trying to grab a hold of Sproing. Is all going to be a case of who can get down the lowest and who can maybe attack the side of their competitor.
Yesterday we saw Sproing split in two, held together by only 3 wires. It's quite impressive they managed to get it all back together for yesterday's last fight. They are of course back here again today.
And we've just heard that the pit button is now enabled, so I fully expect the pits to become a part of this fight at some point. Who is going to be the one to activate it? But Babrog really controlling Sproing here, I think, at this point.
Yeah, Babrog has put some new forks on. The ones from yesterday had got all kinds of bent up and broken, so he's been replacing them and they are all nice and fresh.
And Babrog now engaging that grapper, and that's a really good grapple. And can they get him into the Uta zone? Can they get him over the wall? They're teetering on the edge, but not quite enough. But the pit is enabled. And are they going in? Are they into the abyss? Not quite. There is one wheel of Sproing. Sproing is controlling the orientation. They are stopping
needs to try and
Babrog.
lift. He's let him go. So a lucky break there for Sproing, but how long for?
And now very close to the pit wall. So we mentioned about the pit being engaged into the abyss. One of those robots may go. A very powerful shunt there by Babrog.
A good ram.
And in they go!
CSB Echo in the blue. And CSB Echo is the lower of the two going into the first exchange in this fight.
And Echo now very much in control, although they're now actually on top of Crossbow. And Crossbow's, well, this is a pushing match. Who actually has the better traction? 4 wheels for Crossbow, but 2 wheels for Echo. And yet Echo seems to have a good traction.
Yeah, absolutely. Crossblow, bearing in mind that they had some real issues yesterday with wiring and everything, they're doing very well today to be back into 2 fights very close to each other, fighting it out for their points in the heat.
And that's a pretty good pin there by Echo, by Crossbow, putting Echo up against the wall. And once again, over goes Echo, but they're hitting the pit button, or is Echo trying to...
I think they both did it. They both want that pit to go down. It's good strategy points.
So I think Crossbow was the one to hit it first, but Echo then just doubled it down, making sure it was done. But I feel like Echo is really struggling in this fight. Crossbow is really taking control, and now that's a good grapple. That's a really good grapple.
Very good grapple from Crossblow. Can they do anything with it? No, they've let CSB Echo go, and it is now driving away. But Crossblow back underneath it, trying to control it right underneath there. The lifter doesn't seem to be lifting to its full potential. I wonder if there's something running a bit slower. The whole thing seems to be a bit slower today.
And I'm watching the Roboteers. Oh, this is very tedious for Crossbow. They want to make sure they do not back themselves in. And
they're lining him up, and down goes CSB Echo.
Bigging, and the fight has begun. And you can see their Voltageist immediately.
Oh,
and this is what I was talking about. Bad is now flying up around the arena. They don't have much control once that spinner is fully active.
Oh, that's some very big damage.
And
the wheel guard is gone, and I think there might be a battery just hanging out the back of the robot. We're going to call the fight there. Voltageist has been immobilized.
Activate! And grapple turnover moving over, but look how quick Digestive is out of the blocks.
Yeah, Digestive's wedge just getting underneath the grapple part of grapple turnover, and those forks are all bent up now.
And now we're seeing the spinner of Digestive get to work. Some sparks coming off of those metal teeth, and grapple turnover very close to the Uta zone, up into the air. Grapple turnover struggling to rotate themselves around. That grapple is not really engaging what they want it to be like.
Those stabilization wings were upside down. He's now just driven back up the right way. It will make life a bit easier for him to drive.
And as you say, that Digestive turnover with their spinner rotates grapple once again, but now another hit there, and well, not so much damage being done yet, although white pieces of confetti are coming off of grapple turnover's body.
Yeah, Digestive is throwing grapple turnover all around, spiraling through the air. Some lovely flips, some lovely aggression from Digestive. The pit button pressed there by grapple turnover.
So I think grapple realizing now this is their way to win the fight. They need to get that pit button engaged. They need the pit floor to be a possibility.
Oh, but a final hit. A wheel comes flying.
Activate, and you'll watch the spinner of Slice of Baby Deadbod spin up, and Contradiction as well. And there's the first impact.
A good hit from both there. Contradiction got the better of the first.
And so close to the Uta zone, so close they are, and they are pinned up on the wall there.
Very sporting of Contradiction to get Baby Deadbod back down there. I think they only have one side spinning. The disc that's usually connected has come apart. One side is not spinning.
So Contradiction, they think it seems to be damage done to their weapon, damage done to the Baby Deadbod's weapon. I have to say their Contradiction being a little bit controversial by letting them off of the pit wall there, because they really didn't need to do that.
Well, it shows good camaraderie, but also good aggression, because they can then get some more points with the judges if it should go to a decision.
And in this pushing battle, Contradiction getting close to the pit. That is always a threat now that it is active. And
Another
a good shot
hit
there by Contradiction. Baby Deadbod really struggling in this fight, being pinned into the blue zone.
Yeah, not really sure what to do here, Baby Deadbod. The spinner is not going, and they are getting closer and closer to the
But
pit.
Contradiction is on the edge, really across the corner there. Couldn't have gotten any closer without falling in. And is that Baby Deadbod immobilized? They're not moving.
It certainly is now as they fall down the pit. It would be in Australia.
And the fight has begun because we got all caught up there. So you can see the spinner there of Annie.
Oh, that was...
And that did not take long at all
that
for
was
the wheel
quick.
to get thrown off there. Aussie mode is clearly quite a dangerous mode indeed. And now they're going after that other wheel. They're not satisfied with the one. As long as that robot's still moving, Annie, are you okay? Will continue to deal the damage.
The base plate has come off of the robot completely now. It was held on by one screw. I think that one screw gave up at life.
And Annie, you okay? Just having a little game of air hockey there with the wheel. Just having a little bit of playing with the wheel, the shrapnel that's left on the arena. Is there much point continuing this fight? What more can they do?
I think Annie is asking the question, you call that a knife? This is a knife.
And you just hear them grinding away.
There goes the other wheel.
And that is the end.
Wait
That
for
is
it.
the end.
Will it go down the pits? Not quite.
Boom Zoom in the blue zone and Rust in Pieces in the red. And you can see Rust in Pieces, the controllers, they split to hit the sides of Boom Zoom. These two Roboteers, they know exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, Rust in Pieces had to wait for this fight for quite a while. I think he got pushed back a little bit. Boom Zoom has been doing very well throughout the competition. He's currently leading the heat, but the Clusterbot is hoping to play spoiler to that.
And you can see the two robots of Rust in Pieces. They're trying to pin Boom Zoom and get a pin there by lifting them up with the flippers. But Boom Zoom's really low to the ground. Once they get their forks engaged, they're actually quite powerful in this fight.
Boom Zoom is also incredibly quick across the arena. Is
And now-
able to get away from danger very easily, very quickly.
And now
Just
that
managing to get underneath one half of Rust in Pieces and giving him a good push towards the pit.
And Rust in Pieces
But
very
just
close there
away.
to the stop. And is that one of Rust in Pieces? Clusterbot stop? No, they are still rotating. They are still moving. They're in this fight. But they stayed stationary whilst their other Clusterbot almost went into the pits. Boom Zoom very much taking them one-on-one. It seems like Rust in Pieces are allowing this to be a one-on-one fight.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if the control is troubling. There goes one half of Rust in Pieces. The other half is still there. But it's not moving very well.
So not a complete out. They need to get both Clusterbots out for this fight to be concluded. And Boom Zoom now pinning up against the corner. And look at that, just hitting them.
Aggressive tapping. We love the aggressive tapping.
So not really how that weapon is designed to be used, but it's good comedic value. And well, I'm worried about Rust in Pieces. They are stuck in the blue zone. Are they able to really get out of there? Yes, they are. And that's allowed Boom Zoom to give them a shove.
Activate.
There we
Boring Bot
go.
goes sideways.
So straight away, Boring Bot trying to close down onto that Egg Beater, but it's too late. And now Boring Bot pinning Gaelic Gladiator up against the side. They're taking control of this fight. They know that that weapon can be damaging. But look at that, the ramp really working for them.
And stopping the weapon with those waggle sticks
And
on
they've
the top of Boring Bot.
So they didn't get ripped apart. I thought they would from that beater, but unfortunately for Gaelic Gladiator, it's just not doing the damage. And Boring Bot is now pirouetting, staying well away from the damage as Gaelic Gladiator goes running into the wall. The pit button has been activated. That's going to really put it into Boring Bot's realm of possibilities, because they love putting their opponent into the pit.
Absolutely, they've had full control of this battle so far. And Gaelic Gladiator really needs to pull out all the stops to get a win here.
So Boring Bot trying to position themselves to get a grapple to then push him into the pits, and
Gaelic
they're getting ever closer to that corner.
Egg Beater Spinner is not spinning quite right, is slowing down at times.
And Gaelic
They're gonna be
Gladiator, they
very
don't know
careful.
how to get out of that danger zone, but they manage it. Boring Bot lets them out, I think, and now we're seeing the remnants of this fight continue. And now Gaelic Gladiator, they don't have the same traction that Boring Bot does. Boring Bot is well too gripped to that surface. They are just really well designed for this arena.
Yeah, Gaelic Gladiator is also not getting any engagement with that weapon. It's just bouncing off the front wedge and getting very close to the pit there, but as is Boring Bot, they want to be careful not to drive down there.
And I think Boring Bot was actually positioning themselves in the red zone, trying to entice Gaelic Gladiator over towards them so that they can shove them immediately into the pit. And now we're seeing again those forks of Boring Bot stopping the drum beater of Gaelic Gladiator. So, oh no, what's happened? They've upside down. Can they self-right or will they be pinned up against the wall? Gaelic Gladiator taking full advantage of this opportunity, and Boring Bot's trying to get loose.
But Gaelic Gladiator lets them get away. The pins can only last 10 seconds.
Aside from Not My Beautiful Wife, they're ready for this fight. They're excited for this fight, and Echo moving in to see what they can do. But Beautiful Wife darting around, and now Echo's the one with the pin.
In fact, This Is Not My Beautiful Wife has grown more eyes than I first thought. It has eyes on the front, eyes on the back, eyes all over the top, and eyes on the waggle stick as well.
But will that help them in the competition? I'm not so sure it will, as Echo struggling on the arena floor. They're kind of seesawing their way around, and Beautiful Wife once again in the red zone. So running to hit the pit button. The pit has been enabled.
Pit going down.
And now we're seeing Beautiful Wife pinning Echo up against the wall.
Both of these robots are struggling a little bit, but as I said yesterday, this is a game of attrition throughout the whole competition. There's a lot of fights to get through, and over those fights things start to get broken beyond repair. So they are doing their best to continue the fight in whatever form they come in.
And now Echo once again with a pin up against the pit wall.
This Is Not My Beautiful Wife almost waggling his finger saying, no, 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 no.
Don't you dare, but unfortunately that's not going to do much in the judges' eyes. I don't think that counts as any form of aggression. So Will, there's both staying well away from the pit, the abyss of the pit, but I say that Beautiful Wife getting ever closer, and now so is Echo.
Would you say that the waggle stick is intimidation factor?
It's more cute. I find it more cute than intimidating, unfortunately for them. They're saying it's deadly, but honestly, maybe
I'm yet
misleading.
to see evidence of it.
Very much so. So Beautiful Wife spinning around, pirouetting on one wheel.
A good push on the side of CSB Echo, I have to say, but CSB Echo returns the favour and pushes them back. Now struggling on that left side still.
Both of them staying away from the pit, trying their best, but this is
Well, they
getting
were.
dangerously close.
Very well driven, evasive action taken there by This Is Not My Beautiful Wife.
9,
And the
9
countdown
seconds on the
has
clock.
begun.
7, 6, 5.
So this will be going down to the judges, you have to say, unless something happens in the last 2 seconds.
And it goes to the judges. Decision after this fight, Igor and Rudimental are in the arena. Rudimental getting a good push on Igor, lifting them up with that lifter. Igor repaying the favour there.
Very much so. So up and down, left and right, both of these robots darting around the arena, and both forks hitting each other there. So a head-on collision for both of them. Neither robot getting under the other. They're both equally matched into this fight, both with a similar weapon, similar design, and well, it's really going to come down to the roboteer, the driver. What can they do to make a difference in this combat?
Pit going down.
And as we see the pits going down, Rudimental was actually really close, but they managed to dart away before the floor was lowered. If any second later, and they would have been into the pit for sure. So Igor now in control of this fight. They have got their back away from the pit. Rudimental is the one really struggling here, but they're both locking into each other. The horns are locking, and that's very much in they seesaw each other.
Rudimental very close to the edge. They're going to have to try and shuffle their way back and forth, but very good driving control to get away from
successfully
danger there.
done. So Igor sold them the dummy. Rudimental went right into the wall, and that allowed Igor to almost push them into the pit. And Rudimental, as you said, brilliantly done. Seesawing the way, and into the pits they go!
Activate!
And Night Fury, as you said, yeah, they're taking the time to get their spinner up and running, and actually they're struggling to drive straight. They're seesawing around, and now we're starting to see Di-Fi potentially getting some form of momentum, but they're really just going up and down on the spot. They're not really progressing around the arena floor.
No, they're yet to get out of that red square. They did start to move around, but Di-Fi is now facing the wrong way. In fact, I think it moves better backwards than it does forwards.
That's quite potentially so. So Night Fury there, just letting Di-Fi really see what he can do and just spinning up themselves. They're going to get up to full power, and now we're going to get blade to blade as they go head on against each other. No, Night Fury thinking better of it, going around the backside, and they're going to start taking out the little seesaw of Di-Fi.
Yeah, there's lots of gears and things around there that might stick up the the drive system of Di-Fi. The pit button has been pressed.
And this is the furthest I've seen Di-Fi move in this competition this weekend.
He has indeed made it out of his red square.
Absolutely. So Night Fury taking some time, but is there a count out beginning? It's umming and ahhing, not quite beginning. So Night
It's
Fury.
difficult to tell if Di-Fi is actually moving or not at times. A big hit there as they come together.
And Night Fury actually damaging themselves by getting underneath Di-Fi. They put themselves right into harm's way of that gyro. And now the countdown has begun, but who's it begin for?
I think it may well be Di-Fi as they're struggling to get out of that square once again. The winner is Night Fury.
But Crossbow has the damage and no one's really moving, but now we are getting underway.
Crossblow lower than Bby Shrekt here, that is a surprise. Pushing them up against the wall. The biggest weapon against Bby Shrekt is itself, I feel. But Crossblow is upside down and not moving anywhere at the moment.
And Bby Shrekt is doing some damage, but Crossbow still able to maneuver themselves whilst they are upside down. The back wheels are still in touch with the arena floor, but that's given Bby Shrekt an opportunity to get to the back end and do some damage. And look at the sparks fly as they start to grind on that shield of Crossbow. So Bby Shrekt now very much dealing the damage, getting what they wanted done in this fight.
That base plate is looking more and more curled up, and if they get turned back onto all four wheels, I'm not sure how good the manoeuvrability of Crossbow is going to be.
Well, I think Bby Shrekt is looking for the Uta zone here.
The top plate and the weapon have also come off.
And
huge
almost
hit there.
getting very close. Is that the end of Crossbow? They look to be stopped. They're not manoeuvring. I'm looking at the referee, I'm looking at the driver.
And they've called it activate.
And how long will that bowl last? Place your bets now as the bowl actually brilliantly encompasses. And there it goes, there's the destruction, but not actually as bad as I thought. There seems to be some tape on the inside there that might have protected Mr. Cat.
I think that might have been attached to the wall of the arena. I'm not sure where it's come from, but... Oh, it was holding the bowl together. Well, it's not anymore. The bowl is definitely coming apart.
It's definitely coming apart, but Endboss is not really engaging in this fight the way you expect it to be.
No, that spinner is not up to speed, and I'm not sure why.
So potentially some of the plastic shrapnel from the bowl getting into the mechanism there for Emboss, and Mr. Cat is very successfully keeping that bowl over the top of Emboss as Emboss is now trying to drive Mr. Cat into the pit.
We are seeing Cat with the four-wheel drive dominate over Endboss with the two, but pushing back now is Endboss.
And I can hear some chants going on for Mr. Cat. For Cat or Emboss, if you're in the arena, start chanting who you want to win. Cat or Emboss, Cat or Boss. I've heard there's some Cat chants, I've heard some Boss chants. It can go either way.
This new wedge setup on Endboss is debuting for this event as well. It's made out of, I believe, a more flexible plastic that can absorb the hits more, which I'm not sure what hits it's trying to absorb in this fight, but we'll have to wait and see.
Well, they're just trialling out, they're just practicing with it. As now Mr. Cat starts to go a bit more on the aggressive. That bowl is perfectly sized to fully cover Emboss, and Emboss just can't push Mr. Cat anywhere near that pit. As I say that, they're getting really close, but now they're running away. Mr. Cat, once again, escaping the jaws of the abyss.
Yeah, definitely. They are doing a very good job of staying out of harm's way in this fight, though Endboss a good push there and a great set of attacks. The wheels of Endboss now off of the ground.
And now you can hear the
Cat
Roboteers.
with a push.
The Roboteers know what's happening. Emboss is stuck on Mr. Cat. Mr.
Trying
Cat.
to spin up, but to no avail.
And Mr. Cat is slowly pushing.
Activate.
And wow, look ahead for the exit, getting really quick off the mark. And they are already entrapping their opponent up against the pit wall there, stopping that spinning disc from getting operational. And did we see the saw come down and start to cut in? I'm not too sure.
I think it was struggling to get forwards enough to be able to cut in. This is it though, getting some lovely sawing and some sparks in there. You can see it doing some damage.
So they
on
have
the top
10
of Dr.
seconds. They have
Zaius.
10 seconds to pin them into the corner and to do this damage. And now they have to let their opponent go. And once again, pinning them immediately afterwards. Dr. Zaius is kind of struggling in this fight. Head for the exit, taking control.
That spinner is not spinning, and more saw blade marks going in. It's right next to where that weapon belt is. They're hoping to cut through it to stop that weapon from spinning completely.
And they have to be careful. Head for the exit has to be careful not to put too much pressure on that saw blade. It's quite a thin blade and it can snap very easily.
Dr. Zaius, I've also just noticed, has their removable link on the very top of the robot. If the saw can get through that, the robot will be shut off completely, and there will be an immobilization.
So once again, we're seeing an entrapment, a pin up into the red zone, and now they're letting them go, but they don't go very far. And wow, Head for the Exit is just staying on top of them non-stop this fight. There's going to be many, many gashes into Dr. Zaius when they get back out of this arena. Look
Lovely
at the
sparks. That robot there, Dr. Zaius, is getting all sorts of damage, and you have to think that Head for the Exit is just dominating this fight in the last 30 seconds.
So only 30 seconds of torture left to continue, and we're hearing the Roboteers laughing around the arena. They're feeling the pain. They're feeling the pain for Dr. Zaius. They know what this feels like. Head for the Exit is giving no mercy, and Dr. Zaius is still in this fight. So can they get some separation?
And it is still spinning as well.
And the spinner is now actually up and running. So if
or is it? It's stopped, but there's not going to be long enough as there's only 3 seconds left on the clock. Here we go then. Up to speed is Corrosive, but on the flipper of Tosser 3, and timing its flips yesterday very well. Will it time its flips again today?
And Flipping Spree, they know exactly what they need to avoid. That spinner, and it's No, but they're good competition here. So Flipping Spree getting their competitor Corrosive off of that wall, and listen to the damage there. Cover your ears if you need to, if you're in the arena. That is quite loud. And Flipping Spree now with a good pin and an even better flip.
There. Much better flip there from Tosser 3. Corrosive back up on its back, but let back down with a big flip. Corrosive, that drum spinner is down at the moment. Whether they're just waiting to get it spun up or what, I'm not sure. But it isn't spinning very well.
And a good shove.
Doing very well.
A really good shove there from Flipping Spree, putting them all the way across the arena into the wall. The pit has been activated, and they're very close to that edge. Corrosive very on the edge there and almost getting in, but they're darting around, and Flipping Spree is there to cut them off. Are they going to be able to escape this area? Flipping Spree is actually going in to join them. No, they're
very good driving from Sam, hiding in the corner. He's getting very close to going in, but not quite going down. And Tosser was very close to going in there. We were talking about this earlier, the tactics of hiding around the pit to make your opponent fall down.
And that really became a game of chess. You can see Corrosive, they knew they needed to escape that corner, but they didn't know which way to go, and Flipping Spree was ready. Flipping Spree almost going into the pit themselves. And listen to the damage now, Corrosive. Oh, absolutely.
Oh, so close to going down. I don't even know what happened there. That was incredible. Tosser was right over the pit and just sort of hovered back out again.
So there's less than 20 seconds.
There we go. Activate.
And Enigma's out of the block. Slamco, they've removed the belts. They've done a bit of work to try and improve the traction, improve the maneuverability.
They are low to the ground, and that lifter is working, but the drive hasn't really worked out for them.
So maybe cutting those belts was not the decision to be done. Enigma now with a good grapple, getting that flipper on top of Slamco. Into the red zone they are, and is that an immobilization for Slamco? They don't even appear to be moving. Enigma with a little tap. They're stopping. They're annoying the referee from the 10-second countdown. We are now in the second countdown. And could that be the end?
I think that probably is it. Enigma is the winner of that battle.
Begin.
I'd love to commentate this, but I think it describes itself. The axe has now gone on Napalm. The side armour is also gone. Has all hope gone as well? Are we going to count down Napalm? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And that's a win for the Beetleweights.
Begin.
Vertex and Enigma doing some damage to one another. Good microphone. Well, that was over quickly. And the high jump competition was won by Enigma. robots will be loaded back in because that was, quote, too short.
Sorry. That's right about that. There you go. Oh, yeah, yeah.
Robot ears, stand by. 3, 2, 1, begin.
Well, they have started once again, and Enigma is doing a good job of pushing, but then Vertex decided to stop that.
Pit enabled.
The pit has been enabled. Circling each other, Vertex getting round the back of Enigma. Vertex hitting Enigma several times over. Oh, that face is not straight anymore, and is not even attached anymore, in fact. The pit button has been pressed, probably by flying debris. Enigma goes through a spiral through the air once again. A good lift there, though. Come in. Vertex's spinner is down, but back up again. Enigma just cutting off those angles, trying to push, being thrown through the air, trying to self-right. I'm not sure he's going to from that angle. Assisted by Vertex, pushed by Enigma now. Another spiral through the air, and that is going to be it. Of Sproing now.
Yeah, Sproing absolutely eviscerated by Ultraviolet. Yes, they had a big rebuild, but they seem to be working much better now.
Dragon with the dual grabbing heads there, looking at Sproing's back end, going for a bite.
But it's Attitude and Juster doing all the work with the hammer at the moment.
And Brug is trying to self-right with the dinosaur head.
I said it was going to self-right best. It's Curse of the Commentator again, isn't it?
I think so. I think you've definitely jinxed it.
Attitude and Juster in again on Dragon.
Some excellent axe blows from Scott. Oh, he's hit him in the teeth. You got to think that must hurt.
I don't really like the dentist. And again in on Brug, who is still struggling on its back. Dragon slowly getting in some lift. Grapple. I know what I'm talking about. I've done this before.
Somebody has just had a removable link taken out, I think. Is it just... Okay, so Attitude Adjuster has just removed its own removable safety link.
Ah.
So that's dead. So the robot that was doing all the work is now out.
Okay, well, we'll see who picks up the scraps. So far, it is...
Going down.
Dragon has pushed the pit button there. Attitude Adjuster is in the pit.
It is gone.
If anybody else feels like they want to drive down it, feel free.
So really, Dragon and Sproing being the most active robots left in the fight. Dragon seems to be out wedging Sproing here.
Yeah, Brug is doing its best, I think. It's doing its best in the red square. Sproing trying to now get a flip in on Dragon, but not quite managing it.
9,
Dragon
8, 7,
moving
6,
slowly. There are
5,
5 seconds left in this fight.
3,
Counting down to
2,
the end of the fight.
1.
Gonna get just for a while.
Down to 16. 2-minute fight. Night Fury, Baby Deadbod, and AOB.
And AOB seems stationary. I would have thought they would have been immediately into this fight, stopping the spinners from getting up and running.
I think they may be a bit worried of each other. They are all very powerful robots. Very capable of doing big damage!
And perfectly timed there, Jevon. The bottle now completely loose, but the flipper's still active.
I think the bottle is still actually providing gas.
And the countdown has begun for AOB. They are upside down. They are not self-righting. Night Fury going in for some more hits, and they're getting massively knocked away. So Night Fury now only has one contender left to deal with.
But Baby Deadbod doesn't seem as mobile as Night Fury does.
And every time Night Fury approaches, they have a smaller spinner than their opponent, so they're getting knocked around every time they get close, and it is spinner to spinner, but the countdown has begun, or has it? No, it's been stopped now.
Just managing to get away from the side wall is Baby Deadbot and going weapon to weapon once again with Night Fury.
And NOB has been counted out. All they can do is watch the damage get done to their robot. Night Fury, they're waiting, looking, they keep touching nose to nose on the spinners. Is that the strategy that Night Fury should be deploying?
I'm not sure. There are some exposed wheels on Baby Deadbot if Night Fury can get around to them. Though Night Fury spinner seems still.
And Night Fury itself, both of the robots being still. So these spinners do an incredible amount of damage. They are doing the toll. And well, now it's coming down more to a maneuverability battle. The spinners are both deactivated. Will we see the pit button hit? Night Fury trying to zigzag their way across. And maybe they're getting stuck on some of the debris on the arena floor.
Night Fury has done very well to keep as mobile as it has throughout the battle. Baby Deadbot definitely struggling, but that spinner is still moving.
And the final countdown has begun.
2, 1.
And that is the fight. It goes to the judges. Activate! Here we go then. Spinning up to speed is Gaelic Gladiator, getting a good hit on Ultraviolence, is now bouncing off the floor.
And I did warn you, the absolute noise of Ultraviolence is absolutely deafening. And
Gear down for what I think is tactically retreating at the moment.
And you can see, so Egg Beater's doing all of the damage there. Gaelic Gladiator up into the air, Ultraviolence as well. Gaelic Gladiator driving over the back of Ultraviolence, and I'm seeing some real damage there to gear down for what?
Yeah, definitely that top panel that covers some of the internals is now loose, but they're still attacking, they're still functional.
And really gear down for what? Waiting for the pit button to become enabled, which it is, and now the pit is lowered. Gaelic Gladiator, Ultraviolence having a little
big
tussle
hit
between
there
the two.
on Ultraviolence, and another one on Gaelic Gladiator, bouncing off the front of Gear Down for What, who gets a good view. Axe swings in.
And now we're seeing Gaelic Gladiator trying to push Gear Down for What towards the pit. Ultraviolence, they're struggling. Their Egg Beater is now running up and down against the arena floor. That's not going to be useful for them. Gaelic Gladiator close to the pit, not quite falling in, but Gear Down doing a great job to guide them over in that direction. A brilliant shove.
Need to be very careful in these fights when you're pushing someone down the pit, that there's not somebody behind you there to carry the train on and push you down as well.
The danger of the freeway fight, so close to the Uta zone. Gaelic Gladiator just surviving, and Ultraviolence has really been almost neutralized in this fight. They're just struggling around the arena, not really doing much damage.
A great hit there from Gear Down for What, down the pit, and so it's just the upside down Ultraviolence and Gear Down for What, who's moving them closer and closer to that pit, getting a good grapple in.
Using that axe there to maneuver. Gear Down is doing a brilliant job.
Gear Down for What?
Activate. And Mr. Cat going straight after that spinner.
The same tactic we saw against End Boss, and the same thing has happened again. The bowl has been shredded. Aggro Wobba now going into pin them as well.
And Mr. Cat is now upside down. Aggro up against the side of the arena. 7th circle doing some damage. They're struggling. They're trying to get through this fight. But both of the pusher robots, they know what they need to do. They need to attack. They need to be on 7th circle non-stop. And 7th circle now riding on top of Aggro.
Yeah, good lift there from Aggro Wobba, getting them up onto their side. It's not a good place for 7th circle because we've seen the gyro effect of these robots. If they go flying over, that could be it for 7th circle.
So Mr. Cat, I think, working together with Aggro Wobba.
Big hit there, loses a wheel, does Aggro Wobba, but it has 3 more.
And look at the damage
to the bowl as well.
And now the underside of Mr. Cat is exposed. That cat has shown their belly, being grinded against, being cut into by 7th circle. The arena floor has been dropped. 7th circle keeping the fight well away from that area, putting Aggro up against the wall.
Aggro Wobba's forks are all kinds of bent up now. They're not getting under anything with them.
And Mr. Cat once again exposing their belly. That bowl arm is just so top heavy that it flips the robot over, really stops them being able to control this fight. But
there's not much of Cat House left.
One eye left of the cat, and that's a wheel flying off of the cat. So Aggro and the cat both losing a wheel. 7th circle doing real damage, and look at the top of that bowl getting destroyed. Can Aggro work together with Mr. Cat?
Oh, huge hit, gets thrown up into the ceiling. Aggro Wobba is still, and I think that is going to be it for them. Mr. Cat's Mouse House, there's no bowl left.
And they're just trying to stay alive. Aggro Wobba has been counted out. Only 10 seconds left of this fight, and there's that Mr. Cat out as well. Looking at the Roboteer, they're trying to get some movement but they're not really able to do anything. They're looking at the clock, which is going to count out first.
Activate!
And Rest in Peace is splitting and going after Grab Crab as Bad Bod. There he goes, so Bad charging in, and now we're seeing robots flying into the air, and Bad itself is running around the arena. Grab Crab staying in the middle. They're chasing down Bad, so Grab Crab is very much going for Bad. And look at that, as the Rust in Pieces cluster bots, they start to flip Bad. They know what their mission is. They want to get that spinner out of this competition.
Rust in Pieces tried to get a lift in there on BadFutherMucker, but they did some damage to that lifter. And there's more damage being done as BadFutherMucker rides up the front wedge of Rust in Pieces.
And this is where the cluster bot of Rust in Pieces is actually being penalised, because in one corner Bad was ripping to shreds the other robot. Grab Crab was actually working on...
Oh, there goes one half of Rust in Pieces. Remember, both halves have to be eliminated.
And that was a good grab there by Grab Crab. They got around the wheel of Bad, and that allowed them to manoeuvre the Bad, and now they're gripping in. Are they going to survive? Are they going to survive that drill that's going around that drum spinner? I think Grab Crab's actually out of the competition. He seems to be stopped.
He's definitely still. But Rust in Pieces, one half of it is still in the battle and may still be able to win it against BadFutherMucker. It's going to be an uphill battle because obviously this is only half the weight of a full-size Beetleweight robot in Rust in Pieces.
So once Grab Crab's been counted out, they're now stationary. The Roboteer will drop their controls, and it's really now just up to Rust in Pieces. They're doing everything they can.
The
30
lifter
seconds
has
left.
been taken off of Rust in Pieces, but he's still doing a good job of pushing BadFutherMucker all around the arena.
30 seconds left. Will we see an elimination by the pits, or will we see destruction as Rust in Pieces continues to take on Bad getting close to the pit? This is what we're talking about. You have to be controlled. Not long left now.
Rust in Pieces pushing back, doing very well. They've got wheels over.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, activate! And Grapple going straight after Corrosive there. They know exactly what they need to do in the pit wall. The pit's actually lowering a bit there from the weight of the robots above them. Corrosive now chasing after, going on the offensive against Grapple turnover.
Yeah, Voltageist trying to get those forks into play, but they all seem to be up in the air. That's not going to help them out much, trying to get hold of another robot.
And we can see some sparks coming off of the arena wall there from Corrosive. Grapple is really working against Corrosive here, and actually Voltageist now, they've betrayed their non-spinning friend.
Oh, and that is Voltageist done in. The removable link has just been removed surgically by Corrosive.
So now this is a 2-robot fight. Voltageist has to remain stationary, they don't have a choice. And now it's against Grapple Turnover versus Corrosive. And Grapple Turnover seems to be a little bit struggling, but so is Corrosive. Corrosive seems
definitely
stuck.
having some drive issues, turning around in circles.
And now we're starting to hear that beater hit against the arena floor.
Those weapon teeth, he's had issues with them all weekend, and they've come loose once again, now scraping the floor, as you can hear.
But some brilliant damage is into the back of Grapple Turnover. They go, knocking Grapple up into the air. The pit has now been engaged, the floor is dropping, and the hazard zone, the abyss, is there to be had. And wow, that was really loud there by Corrosive. They are really knocking against the floor. Grapple staying well away, or at least trying to, but they need to engage in this fight because they need to be on the aggressive, just in case it goes to a judge's decision.
I've just noticed there's a lot of fragile stickers on Grapple Turnover. Very close to going out to the arena there, but stayed in. Corrosive now up to speed, trying to hit Grapple Turnover out, but they get away.
And Voltageist almost giving the assist there to Corrosive, helping Grapple Turnover go over the pits. And wow, listen to the noise as that really messes with the arena floor. Corrosive now fully powered, but look at Grapple Turnover. They just don't really have the opportunity to grapple Corrosive. And now the underbelly. The underbelly is getting shredded by Corrosive.
All sorts of awful damage happening there. That is the end of the fight.
Deja 2. With the massive sticker on the front is Aries, the front hinge flipper, and as you say, Sproing with the big metal front, and then finally Di-Fi walking the best we've seen it walk so far this weekend, out of the red corner.
Actually, I must admit, I was very cruel to it, but yes, they are making good progress over, and all of the flippers are very much staying away from Di-Fi. They don't want anything to do with that big spinning disc, but Deja 2 is thinking about it. They're thinking about attacking. They're talking to Rob, the Roboteer, but they're not making any movements to actually push them. And they're just watching. They keep moving back, and they're going to go for the hit.
One of the interesting features of Deja 2 is that it doesn't have to just drive towards factors, but also drive sideways. They seem intent on just going face to face anyway and seeing what might happen.
And now Sproing is taking the hit for all of the robots, letting Di-Fi just rip into that metal front. And there it finally grabbed. It finally grabbed the front of Sproing, and look at the damage. Look at the damage. The shield is completely gone. The flipper is gone. Sproing is now a very defenseless robot. And Di-Fi, well, that knocked him on their side, and that almost looks like the end of Di-Fi.
I imagine for most of our live audience, they're probably looking at that and thinking that is some serious damage.
Yeah.
Sproing has had worse this weekend. Sproing has been hanging in 2 pieces with 3 wires holding the whole road.
And that was very much blink and you'll miss it. I'm a little bit terrified of Di-Fi falling into the pit. In it
The pit
goes.
is one of the strongest parts of the arena. It's definitely not digging its way through there. Sproing, however, still going. Deja Two has had quite a nice time sitting back strategically in a fight like this.
Well, Deja
All
Two
robots know that sitting back is possibly the thing to do, and that is why.
and Deja
Picking
Two.
up the pieces.
They did confront Di-Fi. They went activate, and Spooky Lately getting off to a slow start, using the neck of the ukulele there as a weapon, and Echo very much staying out of the way so far, but now we're starting to get some engagement. Spooky Lately still playing a tune every now and then, as you can see, with the pick.
We've spoken plenty this weekend about forks on the ground game. It's the first time we've seen tuning forks being used.
That's very true, very, very true. So, Echo now looking really to get Spooky Lately over towards the pit. This is going to be a shunting match between the 2 robots. You can see Spooky Lately throwing the neck of the round, the head of the guitar, but it's not really doing much damage. And now the pit has been enabled. And is that a wheel coming off? A wheel has come off of Spooky Lately. And well, they're now just plucking away, trying to do a tune, but that's really stuck on the floor. They're going to be spinning round on that one wheel, and that's given Echo the opportunity, the advantage to push them closer and closer towards the pit. We're going to make our way across the arena. They have a minute to do so. Will Echo get to the pit, or will Spooky Lately survive? What do you think, Rowan?
In whiteboards, we tend to play slightly Sunday rules with countouts. I'm not sure we would still have a Spooky Lately in the fight normally, but I'm just waiting to see that other wheel come off and just see where those motors go.
As to whether they just run away from Spooky Lately and just start dancing around the arena.
That is what I would expect, although that now seems to have come off fully. It looks like the constant turning and twisting of that has removed the wires from it.
So the soldering not that strong on the motors. They had to give eventually. They couldn't hold on for too long. And Echo just pushing Spooky Lately around the arena, up against the wall. They haven't really left that side of the arena because the pit is engaged, and we're now into the final 30 seconds of the fight. And well, what can Echo do? What can Echo do to remove Spooky Lately from this fight?
The advantage of the fight staying over this side is it's slightly easier for the audience to hear the beautiful music of Spooky Lately.
You say that, I genuinely haven't heard any of the audio from Spooky Lately. I can't hear the music at all, but it is still winding, and Echo getting underneath Spooky Lately as the countdown. So, Enigma is going to be up against 2 spinners here, and that's going to make their job really difficult. But Vertex now being pushed into the blue zone, and that's Enigma over. Can their flipper self-right them, as now Enigma is back into the fight. So, whilst that was going on, stand by.
Slow to spin up, but it has definitely got up to full spinning speed.
And Enigma has lost their face.
Damage.
So Enigma has lost their face, they've lost their flipper, they've now just got the forks up against them. So Vertex now getting into this fight, and that's the problem with Zephyrus. They do so much damage, takes a while to get up into speed, but once they have, the damage they do is terrible. So I am fully expecting Vertex to go after Zephyrus to stop that wind-up. And well, so far Enigma's doing a brilliant job actually, holding Vertex up against the wall, grabbing a hold. They've lost that front plate, but that's enabled them to have some forks. And now they can get in and do some grappling. They seem to be a little bit stuck on Zephyrus. We might even see a pause here for the fight, because I'm not sure they're going to get out. A lovely little hit by Vertex, that frees them up.
That's our preferred solution, something hitting something.
And now Zephyrus is up on their nose. Once again, we've seen this so many times. They cannot get out from that position. This is a whiteboard, so maybe we'll see a fellow Roboteer knock them over just so they can get back into the fight. But this is now a 2-robot battle between Enigma and Vertex. And well, look at that. Vertex doing everything they can to win this fight, knocking over Enigma. And Enigma, well, they want to get Zephyrus back into this competition because they're not liking their chances up against Vertex. But Enigma isn't really doing a good job because now Zephyrus is stuck on the pit wall.
The weapon on Vertex does seem a bit ill. It's spinning up and slowing down and spinning up and slowing down. If that continues and Enigma chooses to focus on them, could be some good opportunities to finish this fight positively.
Well, this is almost like watching one of those grabber machines as they try and get Zephyrus free. We're in the final 5 seconds of the battle, so it's all a bit in vain. And well, a lot of damage done to Enigma, but what a fun fight.
Activate! Stratus,
Igor.
not enough time to get up to speed. Igor very quick across the box.
So Igor right away knowing exactly what to do, but it's too late now. Stratus is up to speed. Igor needs to stay out of the way, and now some brilliant dodging there.
Whoa! Huge hit, and Igor is still.
They seem to be immobilized. Up into the air they went, and the referee has called the fight.
Activate!
And Boring
End
Bot.
box. Up to speed very quickly, and Boring Bot thrown into the ceiling. They're going to need to find an angle on End Boss to be able to do something to them. I said it'd be a driving match, and this is where the driving takes its mark.
So M-Boss doing the big damage, but Boring Bot very much still in this fight. Very much full control and actually pushing M-Boss into the corner. So a brilliant pin there by Boring Bot. And now M-Boss has done some damage to the back there of Boring Bot. Is that Boring Bot out of contention?
I think the forks may be stuck open and no way to close them.
And I'm looking at Shakes there as he lets
And
go
that
of his
is it.
controller. Activate. And
Here we
you're
go.
seeing there, look at the cluster bots splitting the ways as Flipping Spree tries to get in and starts fighting onto him. It's going to be an interesting battle of flippers. They are all flippers in this match.
They are indeed, and a good self-right there from Tosser. They've got turned over, but they managed to get back up on their wheels.
And
Now
now-
being pinned by Rust in pieces.
And for a second there, I thought Flipping Spree got stuck under the arena floor. They didn't quite, and now we're seeing there a brilliant hold there by Rust in Pieces, lifting him up. Unfortunately, the other cluster bot cannot get in to flip him into the Uta zone. The pit button has been pressed. The floor is lowering.
Yep. Rust in Pieces have to release the pin.
Oh no, they are! Flipping Spree is stuck in the arena floor. They can't quite get out. So Rust in Pieces is seemingly trying to help them out. Or are they actually stopping them? I'm not quite sure. But they do seem stuck.
They're away now.
So a lot of time was lost. A minute left now, and Flipping Spree, I think, has to really go on the offensive now to get some points on the board when it goes to the judges. If it goes to the judges, I'm not too sure. But we haven't seen many flips from Flipping Spree. They've been doing a fantastic job all fight.
There was one though. Upside down now is one half of the Minibot Clusterbot team, and down the pit. A very good driving there from Tosser 3.
So Flipping Spree very much in the right driving seat, and they're putting the other one into the pit.
Activate. 7th circle up to speed. Anomaly a bit quick off the mark perhaps, but doing very nicely to get across.
And now you can see the wind up of that motor. 7th circle is really revving hard, and Anomaly being a lower down robot with those long forks, they're keeping their distance. They're doing a great job so far. 7th circle though wanting to get on the side of Anomaly and rip into the drivetrain.
Anomaly was the new robot from Jack Tweedy. His one last year came second at the event, so he's going to be looking to do well here, but it's 7th circle who manages to turn him over. That disc, however, on 7th circle seems to have stopped.
It looks like the drivetrain's disengaged, and that means it is now a shunting match, which really for me puts it massively in Anomaly's favour.
Most certainly, if 7th circle gets turned over, that could be them done.
And the pit button has been pressed, so 7th circle fully appreciating the situation, but Anomaly now trying to get some flips in, but actually getting caught themselves. They can't quite get those teeth underneath the robot.
No, absolutely not. I think there was an earlier hit which just lifted them up very slightly, and now 7th circle is able to capitalise with their forks.
So this is a pushing match, a shunting match, a little bit of seesawing, to and fro between the two. It is a game of positioning, and 7th circle with that wide encatchment, they really can control Anomaly's escape routes.
Definitely, they can get full control of Anomaly and push them anywhere they like around the arena so long as they are underneath.
And now, we've seen it a couple of times, 30 seconds left to go, we've seen it a couple of times, the robot's getting close to the pit, but not quite falling in, and now it looks like 7th Circle's going for a pin up against the wall on Anomaly. They keep trying to rotate them, they keep trying to push them towards, but Anomaly, they're having none of it, they don't want to go anywhere near that pit.
I think Anomaly, one of their front teeth, they have a short triangle section that is meant to be touching the floor.
We're
One
getting
of them
very
is
close.
missing.
We're getting very close to the pit. Both robots there were on the edge at one point, and it's going to go to a judges.
Activate.
And Boom Zoom doing exactly what I thought they would, charging across the arena, stopping Night Fury from getting up and running.
A lovely box rush, but it's caused some big damage to Boom Zoom.
And now the sparks are going off of Boom Zoom. Once that wind up of the motor has started, those tyres of Boom Zoom, they're being absolutely shredded, ripped off of the robot.
And Boom Zoom seems to be stuck on their own tyre that's just been ripped off by Night Fury.
So you can see the flipper frantically going up and down. They want to dislodge themselves. 2 seconds left to do it. They are out of the competition. Let's begin.
Frog versus Gear Down for Watts. Here we go. Gear Down for Watts. I forgot how fast it was for a second there.
I forgot how quick both of these robots are. And look at that, Sir Lance Frog
Good Lord.
slammed up against the wall.
This
Wow,
might
look
not be
at
a
the
spinner
speed.
fight, but my God, it's entertaining
Look
already.
at the speed of Gear Down for What? They're not gearing down, they're speeding up. This is incredible. And Sir Lancerfrog really struggling to know what to do. Gear Down for What? They're all over the place. They are under control, but they're struggling. And now Sir Lancerfrog taking control. The pit button has been pressed. The floor is enabled. And that hammer of Gear Down for What? It's coming down, getting close to the pit.
Very close to the pit there for both robots.
And a self-right there by Gear Down for What? But I see a drivetrain gear.
Yeah, that's come from Gear Down for What?
And which part of the robot do you think that is? That looks like it's off the right-hand side.
Drive chain from one side. I can't tell which yet. Probably the right-hand side. But it's over.
Activate, and Corrosive going straight up, but that is Swag Demon getting the better of it, knocking Corrosive up into the air. And listen to Swag Demon there, I think it is, running against the floor, or is it Corrosive? Hard to tell, they're both the same.
Yeah, they're both doing it, I think. I think it may well be Corrosive. You can see it jumping very slightly. Thrown against the arena wall.
So, absolutely incredible by Swag Demon. They're getting the right angle of attack, throwing Corrosive up into the wall. But now look at Corrosive stuck on top. They managed to get out of the way, but look at this again. Swag Demon goes straight in for the fight, and now we're hearing the drumming of Corrosive as they hit into the floor.
That drum does not sound healthy on Corrosive, bouncing all over the place, and now seems still.
So the pit button has been activated. This way Corrosive can maybe win the pushing battle and knock in Swag Demon, but Swag Demon so far doing a great job on the aggression, getting a lot of damage done. But now we're seeing a great pit there by Corrosive up against the arena wall.
Yeah, definitely. Corrosive may have had a weapon go down, but is making the most of the control and aggression here, coming back into the fight against Swag Demon. And almost that drum is hindering them.
And that tribal drum, that almost tribal drum, up into the air. Up into the air goes Corrosive. I almost feel like that was self-inflicted as I hit into the floor. And is that Corrosive out? I'm looking at Sam. He thinks it's done. The countdown is over. 3, 2, 1, and cease. Activate, and Bby Shrekt winding up as Babrog eagerly, but not so eagerly actually, moving over towards, and they're looking to get to the side of Bby Shrekt. And once Bby Shrekt is spinning up to speed, Babrog can actually maneuver around them. And that was a good hit by Bby Shrekt.
And a third as well, 2-3 hits in that procession. And the grabber of Babrog is now looking a little bit bent up and broken. The forks are not quite doing what they are meant to. They are stuck underneath the HCP, which is going to make riding up that wedge very difficult.
So Babrog, very much a robot that grabs and holds their opponent, but Bby Shrekt is a robot that shreds into their opponent, and look at this, throwing Babrog around the arena. Babrog doing the smart thing, hitting the button for the pit floor.
Yeah, very good tactics from Babrog, but it may be in vain, or maybe it won't be. Babrog needs to try and get down from there. I'm not sure they can.
And Bby Shrekt, this is for the championship belt, so the whiteboards, you'd expect him to knock him off. 2, 1. That is the end of Babrog.
Oh, everyone's spinning up before activate. Well, here we go then. Good luck, everyone. Big hits already. Angel Slice and Annie collide. Annie's upside down now and going full Aussie mode. No, back up the right way.
Deadbot holding off in the background there. It looks like it might have drive from his big dash on the rear.
Enigma using that big front cloud to try and deflect the blows, and by the looks of things, Deadbot spinner down, no back up to speed. Enigma now upside down thanks to Vertex.
Deadbot having real mobility. Vertex, so silent, yet so damaged. Going down. Angel spinner looks like he's caught in Vertex.
Enigma is spiraling the pit, one wheel over that hole, and there are two robots very stuck together. Angel Slice and Vertex caught. And he's not okay.
Angel Slice lost drive on one side, the weapon is back up and going.
Another big hit there between Angel Slice and Vertex, both reeling from that one, I think.
Enigma really.
And another big one. Oh, and Baby Deadbot has become a spinning windmill in the pit.
So we now have 2 spinners and 1 control bot.
Surely not. Surely it's not going to happen again, right?
It might. I mean,
Enigma pushing Vertex into the pit, and now it's one-on-one, spinner versus non-spinner.
Angel Slice having problems with the drive there.
I've got to say, I'm rooting for Enigma because we need to keep this tradition alive. Oh, very close to going down, and he does. Enigma wins the spinner battle.
Congratulations.
Activate.
Good boy, off with a box rush on Brug.
The skewer being used to pierce the outside of the arena. So dangerous, so deadly, and so pointy. There are drive belts everywhere. I don't know who they've come from.
I think they are off Good Boy. Good Boy has been stacked and back down now thanks to AOB. Brug going for the skewer on Voltageist there.
Head for the... Oh no, this is not a drill even. Trying to get the pit button in play, but not quite. AOB had Voltageist up on the wedge, but did nothing with it. The Playmobil person has fallen off.
Oh no, that's the driver.
Please protect the Playmobil person. Oh, he's in there somewhere. Just been landed on by Brug.
No, I believe that Playmobil person's been in every single fight that this is not a drill has been in.
The bottle being hit hard by Attitude Adjuster.
I did chat to Scott, the driver Attitude Adjuster, before this fight, and he said he was going for the bottle.
Well, he has hit it, to be fair. Resistance has been pitted!
Voltageist over the other side. Brug, Attitude Adjuster, and AOB, last 3 standing. Brug going in with the grab skewer in the lift.
Attitude Adjuster bringing that hammer down, causing all sorts of untold pokes in AOB. And now Brug as well. Is anybody safe?
Well, the skewer seems to be working quite well, actually.
He's blocked a hit.
Attitude Adjuster wailing away.
There are definite dents in the top of AOB's armour.
Attitude Adjuster, one of the few robots that's louder when it's not a spinner than when it is.
Yeah.
So
Brug trying to
Brug,
trying to fall in the pit there. 3 seconds left in the fight. Then the round of 8 starts here. Tosser 3 very quick out the gate, as is Endboss, and very quick up to speed as well. Jockeying for position, both of these. Endboss turning, trying to get those forks into play. Tosser behind him with a flip as well, and going towards that outer corner. That was exciting, but some damage there. The flipper has gone.
Gareth's going to have to rely on his ground game here to beat Endboss, and Endboss with those long forks, that's going to be really tough.
Yeah, certainly. The driving skill will have to be on point here for Tosser, as it has been so far this weekend, though. That pit may well come into play. The forks almost getting in the way of Endboss getting engagement with Tosser.
Tosser certainly getting the rub of the pushing man. Pit now down. And Endboss...
Oh, very close to the pit there. Turned over there. Self-righting mechanism still in use,
and
but Tosser has been hit.
Tosser dead in the water. Looks like maybe the link has come out.
Quite possibly either that or some damaged wiring underneath. But either way, your winner is Endboss. Activate. Much better. Well done, everybody involved. Stratus up to speed. Anomaly gets a big hit and thrown across the arena.
Both these new robots for this competition, both undefeated so far.
Anomaly hits the ceiling, a massive hit, and seems still on the arena floor. Stratus is very up to speed, but bounces off the floor. That plastic, I think, in the wheels bent and let the spinner touch the floor.
There's a lot of flex in those wheels.
Activate! Here we go, both robots up to speed. This is going to be an interesting fight.
And for the first time, Night Fury's not the one with the first impact. Bby Shrekt getting in there.
And it's over!
The champion
Bby
is
Shrekt! Activate!
And in comes Swag Demon as Sir Lancelot tries to get around the backside. So they do not want to deal with that egg meter. They do not want to deal with that drum. But look at it. Swag Demon now getting some damage done. And close to the Outer Zone we come.
Yeah, Swag Demon pushing all around the arena. So Lancerfrog now the right way up once again, but is not the lower of the two machines and is being thrown all around the arena by Swag Demon.
And Swag Demon now putting Sir Lancerfrog up into the corner. They want to grind away at Swag Demon. I said Sir Lancerfrog, they want to do the damage, they want to get in. And they don't want Sir Lancerfrog walking out of this event. The pit button has been hit. And are we going to get close to the pit zone? We are waiting for the floor to drop. Sir Lancerfrog looking in the defensive. They look in trouble, Jevon.
Yeah, definitely. They are struggling to get away from the pit. And Swag Demon, I think, backed away there to try and let them out. They want the fight to continue. Or do they?
Is it more of a case they don't want to go in the pit themselves?
Well, quite likely. We've seen it a lot this weekend. But the wrong robot falls down the pit.
And now here we go, getting closer. So Lancerfrog just trying to nudge out of the way at the last minute. Swag Demons using their
that
spinner.
Lance is caught on the edge of the pit, the one wheel over, and there's going to be a count out.
So audience, count them down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Cease.
Activate.
And well, already it's a medley of carnage. Is the Rust in Pieces actually getting caught amongst everyone.
Yeah. We've got Boring Bot trying to grab a hold of things. We've got Brug poking things with his pokey stick. Step Up 3D is looking for its next victim. Grapple turnover being lifted by Rust in Pieces.
And I don't know if you saw it, but Grab Crab was almost into the Uta zone there, so that was really almost close for them. They almost got knocked out.
In fact, I think Grab Crab and Babrog are stuck together and may well be out here.
Well, no, I'm sure Boring Bot is going to move over and just give you some opportunity to move. Although Grab Crab is stationary.
So we've lost one already. Grab Crab has gone.
And the pit is now open, but Rust in Pieces, they're way too wide. They can't quite get over there, but they seem to be stuck.
I think one side of Rust in Pieces was being very cautious there.
So Rust in Pieces was protecting the Abyss. They were stopping any competitor
Step
from falling in.
3D is upside down. I don't know how that happened, but it is.
And now Rust in Pieces, they're upside down. That mat's probably going to weigh them down. No, they do get back up again.
But one half has gone. And now they're connected. It is one robot, and therefore it is out.
But if all the robots work together, could they pull the second part of Rust in Pieces out of the pit? Look at Grapple turnover.
It's touched the bottom now.
Maybe, but maybe they can still get them back into this fight. And it looks like over on the corner, so Grapple turnover is doing everything they can. Close to the pit, almost falling in there. Grab Crab's been shuffled over to the other side of the pits, and looks like we've got a stopped robot on top of Grab Crab. No, they've been released.
Mr. Cat's Mouse House doing a good job of getting a hold of Deja Two. Rust in Pieces, they're sort of helping Brug into the pit, I think.
And have we mentioned
doing?
Brug has gone into the pits?
Well, there are only 9 seconds left in the fight.
6, 5.
And so far it has been utterly ridiculous. And I'm not sure who's still working. Boring Bot there trying to get some last minute in.
Activate! Here we go then. Not My Beautiful Wife doing exactly as they said, spinning on the spot. Annie, are you okay? Spinning up to speed as well. Big hit there off the front wedge of Attitude Adjuster.
And now Attitude Adjuster dealing the damage back with that hammer. They do not want Annie, are you okay getting away with that. Eye is falling off from Not My Beautiful Wife.
Babrog was on their back. They've turned back onto their wheels now. And I believe that Schnake is stuck on the back of This Is Not a Drill, now away.
So we saw there Attitude Adjuster hammering into Annie, are you okay? And now hammering in on another robot. They are just being aggressive, whoever they can pick a fight with.
Annie, are you okay? Is stuck on her face. No, away again.
Well, they've now enacted Aussie mode, where the spinner is the wrong side of the robot, up in the air. And what a
lovely suplex there from Babrog.
So Babrog coming from Ireland. And I think that is the sister robot of Babrog stuck in the arena wall.
The arena button has been pressed. The pit is going down. This Is Not My Beautiful Wife looks a bit sad upside down.
Very much immobile. The wheels are spinning, but they're not able to get any traction. And Babrog now, they got a grapple on Attitude Adjuster, taking them towards the pit. Will we see Not My Beautiful Wife go into the pit? I think some robots are trying to orchestrate that. Getting closer.
They're doing 2 of our robots.
It's a 2 for 1. Both are in the pits. And almost into the Uta zone was Annie, are you okay?
Babrog pushing Annie once again and turning her over. Attitude Adjuster coming in with some good axe hits on the floor.
And let's see that spinning disc of Annie getting up to speed, knocking Annie over into the red zone, and Babrog chasing him down. And now looking for another suplex, and everyone's in the corner.
8, 7, 6, 5.
5 seconds left in the fight.
And almost
But
so close
this
to the pit.
is not a drill. He's in the pit. Activate. Both up to speed very quickly. It's Swag Demon getting around the side of N-Boss, bouncing off the forks, but a huge flip through the air. Swag Demon now upside down near that Uta zone.
And you can see that Swag Boss nipping at the corners of M-Boss. M-Boss got up to speed so quick, Swag Demon, sorry. M-Boss now pinning Swag Demon up against the wall, backing away because they want to get some damage done. Those forks are actually quite challenging because Swag Demon, that drum is catching those forks and starting to do damage. And M-Boss cannot get close enough, I don't think. We're hearing something rumbling.
N-Boss is trying to grind down the back end of Swag Demon, but Swag Demon seems to be sitting still. And that is going to be it. Activate!
And they're spinning up, they're getting up speed, and Stratus slowly making their way over. Bby Shrekt though, look at it, darting away. They don't want to go where they are now.
Weapon to weapon, right through the air! A massive hit, but the wheels on Stratus are not looking healthy.
And both robots still operational. I thought Bby Shrekt was out of action for a second there, but they are back up. And look at Stratus, they are looking a little bit jammed. The wheel is very much spinning on the spot. It's quite buckled actually, so Bby Shrekt needs to get in at the side and do a bit more damage because Stratus is not giving up the ghost yet. Look at that wheel slowly buckling.
Excellent driving from Tom, managing to turn around, get faced up to Bby Shrekt once again. Trying to get in for the hits that they need to get the win. Another absolutely massive hit. Bby Shrekt upside down. Can they still move from there?
The referee started to count. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Your finalist is Stratus.
Good luck to Activate. And good luck indeed.
Carnage,
really bad,
chaos.
getting in some damage.
BadFutherMucker everywhere. Di-Fi's on its side.
And Zephyrus is taking some time to get their spinner up to speed. Listen to the damage.
Fang has caused some damage.
And as you said, Di-Fi's on their side. The pit button has been hit. Bad in the background there, jumping all over the arena.
Boom Zoom upside down.
And I can see some carnage, some shrapnel being bespoke there. And Bad
Boom
is
Zoom
really,
right way up.
Bad is really taking a dislike to Boom Zoom. They want some destruction done. And now we're seeing
the pit is going down. The top of the bat is off. We are pausing the fight. An exposed battery has popped out. Begin the carnage again. So 2 robots have been removed. The rest remains standing.
And Di-Fi's into the pit.
I believe Voltageist is also sat still as well. And so there aren't many robots still moving left.
And I can see a wheel just being flown around. I think that ended up into the pits. Boom Zoom is locking a competitor into the corner, and now Bad is jumping up and down, really struggling to get some.
Zephyrus is in the pit.
Well, not fully though. Are they fully in there, or can they get out?
I doubt it.
Well, Di-Fi is actually in the bottom as well. So
Sproing had a very good grapple on BadFutherMucker.
And yeah, I think you're right. Di-Fi is definitely stuck. So,
Boom Zoom seems to be struggling to move as well.
And
BadFutherMucker very close to the pit there. Lancerfrog giving him a push.
And I think we're getting close to the point of needing potentially a cease here. I think 4 robots operational, as I can count them now.
Enigma's weapon is not attached by anything than prayer.
And Sir Lancerfrog jumping up, leaping for joy into the air there, courtesy of Bad.
10, 9,
BadFutherMucker all over the shop.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Good Boy seems to be sat still as well now. Activate.
And Bad Boy there with a little bit of shrapnel stuck underneath them. So I think they got away and into the pits, not quite. Skirting with danger, and around we go. Bad Boy now charging in with Enigma to stop Bad Boy's attack.
Enigma's weapon is off. And I believe Enigma is dead in the water, but BadFutherMucker's gone. And BadFutherMucker's back.
So now it's just a challenge between Bad, although Bad I think is actually going to get away.
Aggro Wobba is pushing slowly towards the pit. BoringBot.
So BoringBot, they look to be a little bit wedged actually. BoringBot.
BadFutherMucker touched the outside of the arena, I'm going to call it out.
So Bad is out now, but this is a pushing match going on here between Aggro and BoringBot. Is BoringBot actually engaged in this fight, or are they stuck? Countdown has begun. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Your Gladiator winner is Aggro Wobba Smithers Edition!
Mr. Cat's houses. And we're going, and wow, straight away, go down for what was straight in there with Mr. Cat's house. And then getting hooks there on the pit wall. Very challenging there, very difficult robot to control. Who is controlling 2 robots?
That would be one of them. I think it's geared down for what? Tim and Ryan there. One doing weapons, one doing drive.
That makes a lot more sense. So potentially working against each other there, because why wouldn't you?
And now there's 3 on that robot.
Pit going down.
And they're getting ever closer to the pit there. So gear down for what? Struggling to keep control. That's going to give Mr. Cat a chance to push him in. We haven't seen much of the bowl, and that is smoke.
There is smoke.
Everyone, please clear the gangway. Clear the gangway. Although it looks to be servo, we seem to be okay. So not a battery fire. That's just something from the motor giving up there, or the potential controller. And to see the competition yesterday, and Emboss has fallen over.
Well, Lale here thinking this may not have been such a good idea.
Activate! And here we go, so Emboss.
Both robots up to speed.
And so far Emboss
Stratus knocks him over. And that may well be it.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Your winner is Stratus!